So one of the themes that I liked about this film with, mistaken identity, true identity, there's a character named Childs later on in the film who makes the comment, if I was a real imitation, a perfect copy, how would you know it's me? And I think back that's one of those questions that a lot of people ask their friends, their family, their significant others of like, well, if there was a copy of me, how would you really know it's me? Like, which one of my ticks or something would you do?
Yeah, it's always kind of that joke in a bunch of shows and cartoons and stuff where they're like somebody gets cloned or somebody gets taken over or something. There's two of somebody and they have a gun and it's like, well, how'd you know which one to shoot?
Right. Exactly.
Why didn't you just shoot both of them?
Yeah,
One less mouth to feed.
that's true.
So I was thinking about that and I remembered back to, I was thinking about how I think out of everybody at this table, who would probably be the quickest to figure out who a thing may be. And I would have to argue it's probably Derek. I think Derek probably has the best powers of observation.
Yeah, I'd be the slowest. I'd have no idea. You could be a completely different shade of color and have a different set of limbs or eyes. And I'd be like, you feeling all right? Anyway, I'm busy. I got to go.
Which is funny you say that because like when we watch things, typically like when we watch a movie, you sit and can like call the ending well before we get there. Like you pick up on little things that like, and I think it's the difference in how we watch movies sometimes. You seem to go into a movie trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I go into a movie trying to experience
Trying to
it.
look for the boom mics.
Yeah.
What I will say is that the reason I say I'm the one who'd probably be the least observant and be able to catch that is because as soon as we're done with the movie, I delete the movie from my brain. I don't remember it anymore. So it would be like I see you and I'm like, something seemed off about him. I'd be driving away and I'm thinking about all like the squid tentacles coming out of your face. I'm like, nah, I'm sure he's fine. What I'm hoping for, though, is that this cold open leads to an embarrassing story about Derek.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that.
Great.
This is what the fans want.
Because I'm basing this on a story. So back in the day when Derek and I were bowling in our bowling league every Saturday.
How embarrassing.
Cut that. So we had noticed there was 4 people on our team, and we noticed that Derek was always very particular about what
Everything.
he would order, what he would eat, how his things were placed. And he always either ordered the chicken tenders or the grilled cheese. And the plastic cutlery was always a certain way. The drink was in one spot always. So one day we noticed this tick and we waited for Derek to go bowl so his back is towards us. And we just decided, let's just move something. Let's just move his knife or his fork or something. And we moved it out of the way. Derek comes back, goes to sit down, looks down at his stuff. After about 5 seconds, you just see him slowly grab the fork, put it back in the proper place. He kind of like shifts it around. All is well again. We kept this going for 4 or 5 frames, just like moving a French fry, moving the basket, moving anything.
I just picture every time he's done throwing a ball, he comes back to the seat, looks around, and begins to softly weep as he says things. But he's like, stop it.
So after about 4 or 5 times of doing this, we finally just decided, like, what if we just don't touch anything? Like, what if he just comes back and just like mentally eats himself from the inside because he can't figure out what's wrong? So we don't touch anything. Derek comes back, sits at the table, looks down. About 15 seconds goes by of him just looking. And then finally Derek goes, yeah, you guys didn't fuck with it.
You know what's funny? I had forgotten that this was even a thing, but like, yeah, now that you mention it, I remember it now. And yeah, that you used to do that a lot, and it bothered me quite a bit, mainly because you were messing with my food.
Yeah, you were because we worked together, and you were very particular, and it was like a ritual of in the break room. He'd come in whatever bag of whatever food, because it's mall food, whatever you can get, and he would set it in a certain way, and he would eat it in his certain way, and every day it was like, is today yesterday? Is yesterday tomorrow? What day is it's all the same?
I live by repetition. Okay.
Yes.
I that is how I function.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So needless to say, I'm pretty sure I would think Derek out of all of us would be the first person to identify if one of us really wasn't who we said we were.
Yeah, I think that'd be the easiest one, because it's like one day he doesn't post a thing on his like 1 second or whatever, and it's like, well, who the fuck are you? You know?
Yeah. I'm pretty good at I've never been diagnosed, but obsessive compulsive in a lot of ways.
Obsessive compulsive Derek. That's what the DNOCD stands for.
So I typically notice little details if they're, there or they're missing or wait, did you take your piercings out?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, no, I couldn't assimilate those into my biomass. Oh yeah, I'm the creature formerly known as Beans Morocco.
You got to be fucking kidding.
Welcome to the Third Channel Podcast,
where we delve into the horror franchises you love from the perspectives of a lifelong horror fan
and a newbie to the genre. I'm a pile of biomass consuming everyone around me who used to be called PJ.
And I'm Derek.
And today, the only thing we're here to talk about is how to keep from being burnt alive, which is a kind of horror. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we joked about it with Thingsgiving. We also joked about it with, I couldn't come up with a pun at the time, and I still can't, so Things Piss.
That sounds worse than it is.
Yeah. That, for those of you who don't know what the fuck just happened, there's a play on The Thing, but also Krampus. Imagine if Krampus was the Thing.
Ooh.
Oh my God. That would explain the giant worm Jack in the Box. We're not here to talk about Krampus. We're here to talk about, arguably, one of the best horror films ever made. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie. And typically what we do right at the beginning is housekeeping. And I'm remembering that because I was going to go into a whole monologue, but I'm going to skip right in front of that. I'm going to talk about housekeeping really quick. Only have one note. Okay. I am very ill right now. I have some sort of head cold and it is bad and it is going into my chest right now. I can feel the sickness going into my chest. I'm very croupy, as the kids say. So
they do be saying that.
Expect a lot of mouth sounds and a lot of coughing from me. And if you complain about it at all, I'll find you and I'll give you a kiss.
Oh,
right on the cheek.
Wait, but then they'll catch it.
Right.
Oh God.
Like The Thing.
Don't complain, guys.
Yeah. Or I don't know. I'll cough on you. Typically at this point, see, going back to what I was about to say, typically at this point, we talk about the first time we ever saw this movie, what it means to us, different interpretations and things that we have about the first time seeing this movie. But we already talked about that.
Yeah.
We're not talking about it again. Bug will. Also, Bug's here. Say hi, Bug.
Oh, hey, guys.
Hey. I love that. That's good. We could have done that in post, but we did it live. If you want to hear us discuss first time we saw this movie, what it means to us, etc., for Derek and I, look at our description. We'll link it in the episode. John Keogh, an editor friend of ours. That's mean to qualify him that way. A friend of ours who happens to be an editor.
A damn good one, too.
A damn good one. Edited together a revolving door commentary track where people like us, Brainbuster Video, Patton Oswalt and his wife, Meredith
Salinger.
Yes. We all discuss the movie. We are the opening act, as it were. We talk about what we think about the movie pretty much right at the beginning. So if you only want to listen to the very beginning, that's where you hear about our tale of tales with this movie. But the question is, Bug, when was the first time you saw this movie?
I vividly remember the first time I watched this. So I was a John Carpenter fan, but I had never seen this film. It was shortly after the PS3 had come out. And I was first getting into Blu-rays, physical media reference, by physical media.
While you still can.
While you still can.
Or I'll cough on you.
But yeah, the PS3 had just come out. And the thing, I remember The Thing was one of the first Blu-rays that was available. And I had done some research and saw like, oh, this is a John Carpenter film that I've never seen before. You know, I bought it, probably super cheap, like $13, brought it home, watched it at like 10 o'clock at night in my bedroom on my new PS3. And I was like, what is this movie? Like, this is the most incredible. It's horror. It's body horror. It's a whodunit. It's got all of these elements of everything I want in a movie. And at that point, I kind of ran into an existential crisis where I was like, do I love this movie more than Halloween?
Yeah.
Because at that point I was like, Halloween is like my favorite film. And this shook me.
That's a good question. Do you prefer this movie over Halloween?
I think I do. In recent years, I think I would argue that this is my favorite John Carpenter horror film.
Derek, do you prefer this over Halloween?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
This is we've said this before. I'm not very good at like quantifying, or putting things in a ranked list all the time.
You have decision fatigue.
Yes, and it's I can do it whenever I like close it down on a specific thing. Like this is my I didn't do that at all.
Really quickly, another piece of housekeeping. We're gonna say the thing a billion times. The thing about this thing, the thing is a perfectly fine term. We know. We get the joke. The joke is that the movie is called The Thing, and we're saying The Thing. We get that. Leave us alone. If you hear one that you think is especially funny, leave a comment and interact with us, you goddamn lazy sons of bitches. Except you, Danny. Danny, you're great because you interact. You comment. Bug comments sometimes, and Caroline comments sometimes. But everybody else, see, the fact that we can name our commenters. The guy, Clote. You got his name wrong, and it was. I'm sure he wore that like a badge that day. But yeah, we're gonna say The Thing a million times, but we're not gonna make the joke.
Right.
Okay.
What was I saying?
Halloween versus The Thing.
Right. So whenever I kind of quantify this, it's definitely my favorite horror film, but it's pretty close to being my favorite film of all time, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that gets in recent years, I think that gets taken over by Interstellar.
Okay.
But that's just for whatever reason.
For some reason, I thought you were saying as a horror film.
Well, no. Just as my favorite film.
So would you say this is your favorite horror film?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It sits on and it has since the day I created my Letterboxd account. It sits on my top 4. Even whenever I changed it up and like did different things, it's like that is always gonna sit there.
See, for me, I prefer The Thing to Halloween, the original Halloween, but I prefer Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, to this movie. I like what they do with the curse of.
That's bold.
I prefer Halloween to this movie. I think Halloween is, like you said, it is my favorite horror movie. It may be my favorite movie. I wouldn't change anything about it, but this is right up next to it. It is the second best thing that John Carpenter made. And I think that in between these two, I think for people like us, that is the running. Like nobody's going, well, which one's your favorite? Is it Halloween or is it like Diary of an Invisible Man?
Yeah.
The way I look at it is that John Carpenter showed us what he could do on Halloween with a low budget, low time, and friends. And that made me want to go, I want to know what this guy can do with a big budget. This is what he can do. And he delivered.
With a full studio behind him.
The Thing. Anytime, anywhere, anyone. A research team in Antarctica is hunted by a shape-shifting alien that assumes the appearance of its victims. And that's it. It's a good one.
Vague, but that's what this movie needs.
Anytime, anywhere, anyone is exceptional as a tagline. The poster of this movie is freaky as hell.
Yeah. Drew Struzan.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. He drew this or painted this with basically no knowledge of what this film was.
Yeah, you can tell. It looks a bit like BioShock is what it makes me think of, like an evil submariner.
Yeah.
Like Namor.
There's one shot in the movie as we were watching it today that I was like, oh my God, that's as close as we get in this whole film. And it's toward the end of the film, they're kind of like setting the camp up to burn. And they drive the tractor into one of the buildings and it crashes. And then they're like
hammering the fuel
gas
bag.
tanks. Yeah.
I think it's Gary at that point. He has his headlamp on.
Yeah.
And so it's up here in the hood. And so whenever he turns toward the camera, his face is gone and you just see the illumination.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The poster of The Thing is Gary.
Yeah.
Gary the snail.
The Thing was released June 25th of 1982. It, if you don't know, it opened the same day as Blade Runner.
What?
Which that is not the only similarity that I think this movie has. Both came out on the same day. They both did not receive critical acclaim in their release in theaters.
They're both made by exceptionally famous, very sometimes controversial directors.
But they have both become cult classics in their own right, but also regarded as like, this is the greatest sci-fi movie and this is the greatest horror movie of all time by most people.
Oh yeah, they both deal with like who's real and who isn't.
Mm-hmm. And they're both were beaten out because of another little movie called E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Oh,
That son of a bitch.
that dang old freak.
Oh, come on.
He's a dang ass freak.
I'm still saying they have the time to make the movie where Jason knocks his fucking block off. They could do. E.T. can't finger his own head. Please tell me you understand what I mean.
Yeah, we're gonna clip that for sure. The Thing is directed by John Carpenter. It's written by Bill Lancaster. It's produced by David Foster and Lawrence Turman. The cinematographer on this we have spoken about before, Dean Cundy.
Go.
He was the cinematographer for Halloween's 1, 2, and 3. He also worked on Psycho 2, Invitation to Hell, which was a TV movie by Wes Craven, Romancing the Stone, the Back to the Future trilogy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Death Becomes Her, all by Bob Zemeckis. He shot Hook and Jurassic Park for Steven Spielberg, and then he reteamed with Carpenter for The Fog, Escape from New York, Big Trouble Little China, and he directed Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's the one where they couldn't even get Rick Moranis, I think.
No, he's in that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The editor, Todd Ramsey, had worked on Star Trek, the motion picture, Escape from New York, Gimme an F, which is that cheerleader movie that Jennifer Cook from Jason Lives was in.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah. Exorcist 3.
We have not seen that cheerleader movie, by the way.
No, we have not. But it's just,
We're not creeps.
It's weird whenever it pops up that other people have worked on it. And then a bunch of other like little horror movies that I've never seen. Soul Survivors from 01, Devour from 05, Wolftown, The Culling, and Uploaded from 2021. The budget for this film. Now, do we remember these? Again, we're moving backwards in time as we're talking about this Apocalypse trilogy. So
I remember
Mouth of Madness
was 15,
was 8.
8, and then Prince of Darkness was 15.
Nope, Prince of Darkness was 3.
Oh God. So this.
But maybe you're thinking 15 because that's how much The Thing was made for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess you'd have to.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of fucking fire and explosions and the fact that they shot in sub like negative temperatures, like yeah, you'd have to have some money.
Mm-hmm. The box office take for this was 19.6 million in North America.
So they lost half.
Yeah, didn't make a lot of money in its first go round in theaters.
That's a shame.
Yeah, but that's what happens to a lot of John Carpenter films, unfortunately.
I think this made less than Prince of Darkness.
He always talks about how if this movie had done better in theaters, it would have changed his life, his career completely. Because shortly thereafter, this was his first big like studio pick. And then shortly thereafter, he kind of, the reason he got Prince of Darkness and Mouth of Madness is because he was like, okay, well, let me do this smaller studio picture and they'll give me $3 million, but I can do whatever I want. I don't have to listen to other people.
Can you imagine that meeting though? He walks in, he's like, I need 3 million. They're like, well, it's kind of a niche film. And he's like, no, 3, exactly 3. And then they're like, okay, well, how much money? What was your surplus? How did you have left over? And he's like, no, I spent $3 million, not a cent over.
John Carpenter, we have talked to death about, and we will continue for the next several years because we love him. Mm-hmm. The writer, Bill Lancaster, the only other things he's really written are The Bad News Bears.
What?
And The Bad News Bears Go to Japan. Yeah. The producer, David Foster, he also was the producer on a horror film called The Legacy, which was directed by Richard Marquand, who was the director of Return of the Jedi. He produced Caveman, which was an 81 comedy starring Ringo Starr. He did the Short Circuit 1 and 2 films. He did The Mask of Zorro, the sci-fi film The Core. He was also the producer on The Fog remake in 2005 and executive producer on The Thing 2011.
Huh.
The other producer, Lawrence Turman, was a producer on The Graduate from 1967. The Flim Flam Man from 1967 as well. That's a comedy film directed by Irvin Kershner, who was the director of Empire Strikes Back.
What's that?
And then also a producer on Caveman, Short Circuit 1 and 2, executive producer on American History X and The Thing 2011. The music is done by, and I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong, You want to go, Bug?
Yeah, Ennio Morricone.
Yeah, I would have fucked that up. But he was Sergio Leone's. He did a lot of his spaghetti westerns, A Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He also did the music for Dario Argento's Bird with a Crystal Plumage, Cat of Nine Tails, and Four Flies on Great Velvet, as well as The Exorcist 2, The Untouchables, Cinema Paradiso, and The Hateful Eight, which is my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. So the development for this movie began in the mid-'70s when producers David Foster and Lawrence Terman suggested that Universal should do a new adaptation of the 1938 John W. Campbell novella Who Goes There, which is it had already loosely been adapted as a Howard Hawks and Christian Nyby's film in 1951 called The Thing from Another World. But those producers wanted to develop that project, sticking closer to the source material. John Carpenter, he was approached for the project first in about 1976 by the co-producers and his friend Stuart Cohen. But he mainly was an independent film director at that point. So Universal instead went with Tobe Hooper, the director of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974.
What the fuck?
As they already had him under contract with them.
Oh.
So
is that like a Bruno Mars gambling situation where he lost his fortune, so they're like, well, we own you and you're going to make all our movies now.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then he made Bad News Bears too.
The producers were ultimately unhappy with Hooper and his writing partner Kim Henkel's concept for what they wanted the project to be, and so that was put on hold. And then in 1979, after the success of Ridley Scott's Alien, a sci-fi horror film, that kind of revitalized the project, and that's when Carpenter became loosely attached following his success with Halloween in 1978. He was reluctant to join the project because the Howard Hawks film is one of his absolute favorites. And so he thought that it would be difficult to surpass that.
Yeah.
And so Stuart Cohen, his friend and co-producer, had said, well, read the original novella. We want to do something closer to that. And so that kind of changed Carpenter's mind about it.
Okay.
The writing process, there was, several writers developing drafts for this before Carpenter became involved. The writer for Logan's Run, William F. Nolan, the novelist David Wiltse, and Tobe Hooper and Kim Henkel. Their draft has been described as a Moby Dick-like story in which the captain did a battle with a large non-shape-shifting creature. So they didn't take the shape-shifting thing into account. And like half
Hooper's a fucking maniac.
And like half the movie like took place underwater or something.
It's like, okay. We want to make a movie that's similar to this book. And in the book, there's like a shape-shifting alien. And we want to do that. He's like, gotcha. Big monster at sea. We're like, well, no, that has nothing to do with it. And he's like, listen, some of it'll be underwater. Like Jim Cameron will help.
Oh.
And at the time, Jim Cameron was like, I'm making Piranha or whatever.
Gets a mention here in a second.
Oh, shit. Seriously?
Yeah. Carpenter, he didn't want to write the project. He wanted to let somebody else do that. But once he was confirmed for the directorship, several writers were then asked to write a new script for The Thing. Those included Richard Matheson, who wrote I Am Legend.
Oh, wow.
Nigel Neal, who wrote the Quatermass Experiment, but he also did the uncredited rights for Halloween 3, which came out the same year as this. And then Derek Washburn, who wrote The Deer Hunter.
Okay.
And in August of 1979, Bill Lancaster was again contacted to write the script. He had turned it down in 1977 because they, I guess, gave some sort of impression that they just wanted to replicate The Thing from Another World. And so by this time, he had read the original Who Goes There, the novella, and then Carpenter being involved. He was like, okay, I want to do this. He described his vision for the film and his intention to stick closely to that original story to Carpenter, who was a big fan of Lancaster's work on the Bad News Bears. And so they worked together to conceive a lot of the key moments in the film, such as like the Norris thing biting Dr. Copper, the use of the blood test to identify the thing. That was a big selling point for Carpenter. Mm-hmm. And that was really the reason he wanted to work on the film.
That explains why that scene is so good.
Yes. Well, and I mean, both of those scenes, really.
Yeah.
We don't always talk about this, But the casting, because I think these are interesting. We have our cast. This is a cast of like 12 men.
Yeah, very bottle episode-y.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we never really talk about the like what ifs. What would this movie have looked like with some of the other people that were up for these castings? So some of the other people that Carpenter had wanted as their lead, MacReady, they considered Christopher Walken.
Oh my God.
Jeff Bridges.
Okay.
And their first offer was for Nick Nolte.
I can see Nolte and Bridges. I cannot see Christopher Walken.
But another early contender
For MacReady.
was Tom Atkins.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Man, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but fuck Kurt Russell.
So keep that in mind, right? Tom Atkins as MacReady.
That's so easy to finish that story out. How do the humans win the day? Tom Atkins fucks the thing to death. It can't resist his animal it doesn't want to assimilate him. It's too much man.
For the role of the mechanic Childs, Jeffrey Holder.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either. Carl Weathers.
Okay.
And Bernie Casey. Now, Bernie Casey is a weird one because he was a football player that did some acting.
Right.
But he is in The Mouth of Madness. In the scene where the guy in the overcoat comes in and kills with the axe.
Oh, is he the guy across the table?
Yeah.
Weird.
So he gets used later. And then Isaac Hayes, because Carpenter had worked with him in Escape from New York.
Okay.
Ernie Hudson was also a front runner. So,
Weird. Ernie Hudson was already too old at this point.
I mean,
I like Childs because Keith David comes off like as young. He seems like a younger guy.
I mean, and this is like one of his first like actual like noted roles.
So Carpenter has worked because I don't know when Escape from New York has come out, but that means he's worked with Kurt Russell before.
Yes.
So
yes,
why
this
wasn't
was
he
the second time.
immediate? Well, I'm not gonna pick anyone else. And he's like, what if Christopher Walken was in my sci-fi horror action movie, walking around and being a psychopath?
So we're going with Tom Atkins and what, Carl Weathers?
Yes, hell yeah. Can you imagine their arm lock?
Oh my God.
Tom Atkins is completely not muscular bicep.
And and then third in this little thought experiment for senior biologist Blair.
Oh man.
Instead of Wilford Brimley, they wanted someone, an everyman whose absence would not be questioned by the audience too soon. Carpenter originally wanted to cast none other than Donald Pleasance.
Fuck you. I wish I didn't know that.
We're getting the gang together.
Because like I absolutely adore Wilford Brimley in this movie. I think he's great. But could you imagine? Can you imagine him doing those lines from the shed? He's like, I'm fine. I want to go back inside. He's fucking destroying the radio room. I shot the radio 6 times. Oh my God, it'd be so good. But they'd have to change his job from biologist to psychologist.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're like, what the fuck is that? And he goes, it looks troubled. It's like, well, yeah, it's got 2 faces.
Yeah, I just want to do that thought experiment.
That's amazing.
I'm glad we went there.
So anybody else notable?
No, those are I mean, there probably was, but those are the 3 I cared about.
Okay, so we replaced the casting. You know what? I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to replace Carl Weathers. I'm going Ernie Hudson.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tom Atkins, Ernie Hudson, Donald Pleasance. Those are my B team. But honestly, I wouldn't swap out.
No.
Yeah, I'm very happy with who we have.
Absolutely. The thing was storyboarded extensively by an artist named Mike Pluge and Mentor Hubner before filming began. The work was very detailed to basically they knew what this movie was going to look like, and they just kind of tried to replicate that as best they could. Dean Cundy really pushed for the use of anamorphic format, aspect ratio rather, very, very wide screen. Because he believed that it would allow them to place, a lot of actors in an environment and make use of the very wide open vistas that they were shooting in.
What makes me think of them standing around the burns, because that happens a couple times.
Yeah.
They're standing like in the middle of the camp and something is burning and everyone's standing around it. And I think that's worth it because it's a good geographical identifier of where you are and who everybody is, because a lot of the game of the movie is to figure out who is where. So yeah, I think it's a good idea.
It also in a way creates this kind of like framing of like, we are trapped here.
Yes. Nothing else exists outside of the aspect ratio of the camera.
Exactly.
Because if you go out there, you're dead.
And then within the kind of empty spaces within those large frames, it's then playing with the negative space, the idea that like someone is just out of frame, just outside this door, watching, listening, doing, what have you. Principal photography began in August of 1981. They shot in Juneau, Alaska. Filming there lasted about 12 weeks. Then it was moved to the Universal lot in California, where the outside heat was over 100 degrees. And so they had internal sets built that were climate controlled to 28 degrees. They were going to, they talked about or tried to find some actual just like, they thought it would be cheaper, I guess, to shoot in like already refrigerated buildings, but they proved to be like too tight for what they were trying to build.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna shoot the scene where Fuchs is like pouring over notes, but he's in like a Dunkin' Donuts cooler.
yeah.
And he's like,
that's good enough.
Surrounded by boxes of egg pucks, frozen egg pucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I worked at a Dunkin' Donuts. You can play pretty good hockey with those.
That's good to know.
Yeah, man.
I like that. I'm also a Dunkin'-aholic. But Carpenter was unhappy with certain scenes throughout the film that they ended up reshooting. Things that they had shot like inside of just men talking. He was afraid that it was too much of that. So certain scenes were then refilmed outside in the snow, which kind of like the scene, the burning scenes and things like that of like them gathering and talking.
Yeah.
It just made it more interesting to shoot it outside. And those were then shot on location in Stewart, British Columbia. The creature effects, I think, is one of the most important things, noteworthy things about this movie. It's something that this movie is kind of known for and referenced for in Stranger Things, among many other things.
Yeah.
So the Thing's special effects were largely designed by Rob Bottin. He had already worked with Carpenter on The Fog in 1980. But before that, he had also worked on Star Wars. He had done some of the creature stuff in the cantina scenes. He worked on Piranha.
Okay, there we go.
And Humanoids from the Deep. Both of those are Roger Corman films.
Mm-hmm.
He worked on The Howling, most famously before this.
Okay.
With Joe Dante.
Yes. And he also worked on The Twilight Zone, the movie. He later did Legend, RoboCop, Total Recall, and Seven.
Okay.
So a lot of fantastic work. I mean, he's done other stuff, obviously, but those are like the big ones that I know people will know.
RoboCop, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, he shoots a guy in the dick.
Well, I was going to say that guy explodes onto his Derek and I have talked about getting hit by a car as one of our greatest fears. So can you imagine getting hit and then exploding into meef?
Oh,
wet meef.
It is wet.
It's wet. It's like it gets all up. It looks like his car is being washed.
Well, he needs to afterwards. When Rob Bottin joined the project, pre-production was already in progress, but no design had really been settled on for what the alien would look like. Carpenter had originally conceived the thing as like a single creature, but Bottin, he suggested that it would be constantly changing and able to look like anything.
Gotcha.
Whenever they were designing like what the thing's different forms would look like, Bottin kind of explained that the creature had been all over the galaxy, and he took on different characteristics from all these different, all these different things that it had absorbed before. And that's why it's able to sprout like the spider legs and the different heads and things like that.
Little weird tentacle things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Bottin said that the pressure he experienced caused him to dream about working on these designs, and then he would take note of that after waking and work them into the film.
Weird.
He also worked himself nearly to death on this movie.
Yeah.
He was like 22 years old doing this film.
Uh-huh.
Just working around the clock with, he had a team of people, obviously.
Yeah. Sleeping in the studio, like around the props and everything else. Would not go home.
until
7 days a week,
until he finally like got so sick that he had to be hospitalized for a bit, and that's where he had to step away for a little bit before he could come back and work some more.
When he was sleeping in the studio, which dog do you think he snuggled up with? Oh. The real one, the fake one that looks real, or the one whose face is split open?
Yeah, he probably climbed inside that one like a tauntaun.
Or like Leo DiCaprio in that bear.
Yeah.
Do you think the bear was the thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The bear was clearly
Leo's
the thing.
infected.
Bottin admitted that he had no idea how his designs would really be implemented practically, but Carpenter was all for it. To quote John Carpenter, he says, "What I didn't want to end up with in this movie was a guy in a suit. I grew up as a kid watching science fiction monster movies, and it was always just a guy in a suit." And so according to Dean Cundy, Bottin was very sensitive about his designs, and he worried about the film showing too much of them. So they worked together a lot in how to properly light the scenes so that you could see the designs, you could see how horrible they were, but then not make them look fake.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite scenes in this movie, and it's pretty quick, and towards the beginning, is that what is it, Norwegian? I always get them backwards because he says they're not Swedish. They're Norwegian. But you go to that camp and it's just the burning pyre, and you kind of pan over it really quickly, and they haven't shown you anything, but immediately you're like, how many fingers does that hand have?
Yeah, you just see like limbs just like all contorted.
And you're trying to make sense of it, but it's so fast that you can't. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I think that's good shit. It's good, the thing, you know?
And then finally, some of the central kind of themes of the thing obviously concern things like paranoia, mistrust of others. Fundamentally, the film is about the erosion of trust in a small community, which, I mean, we've seen these sorts of things with Twilight Zone episodes.
Sure.
What is it? The Monsters on Maple Street.
Yeah.
Where the small neighborhood kind of claws itself apart because they distrust the people around them.
Well, there's the bomb shelter episode.
That one as well.
Yeah. That's one of my all-time favorites. I love that episode because it is stressful as hell.
And what's funny is a lot of that came from the same thing that the Hawks film, Thing from Another World, was kind of getting at, the Red Scare of the 50s. Whereas this was then kind of dealing with other things at that point, not being able to trust the people around you. But then it kind of deals with a timely thing for the 80s, which was the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The spread of HIV and AIDS, and how it wasn't a disease that was like noticeable just by looking at someone. You couldn't tell, oh, this is a person who has it immediately. You kind of had to test it by blood. And all of that kind of plays into how they figure out this thing in this movie.
I know I'm human. And if you were all these things, then you'd just attack me right now. So some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open. If it takes us over, then it has no more enemies. Nobody left to kill it. And then it's won. There's a storm hitting us in 6 hours. We're going to find out who's who.
Do you think the entire time McCready's giving that speech, Palmer is just like wide-eyed, like, yeah, what he said. Humans?
It could be any one of you, all the rest of you.
But not me. Certainly not me. Yeah. Look at how normal my skin and facial expressions
Look at my headphones. See? An alien wouldn't listen to music.
Yeah, they're definitely plugged in.
My favorite song is a good one. Beep, boop, beep. See? It's like, damn, Palmer's definitely not it.
Human music.
I like it.
Okay, to get this out of the way. This is one of those movies where, kind of like what we talked, the ending of Krampus.
Yes.
Where there's a lot of different theories as to what anything means.
Right.
Who's a thing at any given time. Who's human at any given time. And we all have our own thoughts and feelings on that, I think.
Yeah.
And we have done a lot of kind of picking this movie apart over the last week. I think I've put more thought into the timing of everything in this movie than I ever have before.
That's fair.
Because like I said, typically I just kind of watch it to have it, the experience rush over me. So we just kind of want to get it out of the way now. We are not here to solve the problem.
No.
We're not going to give you a definitive answer.
No, there's not going to be homework. There's not going to be any kind of test. There is an answer out there, and it belongs in the head of a white mustached lich, just an old hag named John Carpenter who lives in a mountain.
But with that being said, we do have our own thoughts and ideas and theories.
Yes.
But we went through that with the idea. We followed a set of kind of guidelines or rules.
Did you mean to say that like that? Guidelines like Barbosa?
Guidelines.
Maybe.
Oh, shit, dude.
He is my favorite character from that franchise.
Oh. Mine's the ship.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
I forgot the name of it. It's the Black Pearl. My bad. That's my favorite.
Bug, I think you have them probably better written down than I do.
Yeah. So we've got 5. The first one, there are 2 possible methods of assimilation. The first one is slow internal cellular assimilation, like through contact of saliva or blood or anything like that. So it slowly takes you over from the inside. The second is violent, fast absorption. This is when we see the thing trying to absorb the dog. It shape shifts into this creature. It tries to absorb it. It's very visceral. And then also with that rule, when a thing absorbs something new to become it, the old thing is gone. There are not 2 things at this point. It is the old thing absorbs new, becomes new thing. Second rule, the thing cannot replicate inorganic material, such as clothes, which we will see in the film. 3, the thing does not operate as a hive mind. Every individual thing is trying to survive itself. There is no shared knowledge or 2 things working together. Number 4, we are not using any information from outtakes or deleted scenes. And then number 5, we are only using information shown to the audience.
Yes, in the film itself. So no books, no comic books, no video games.
Correct.
Not the prequel film from 2011. We're not taking any of that into consideration. We're just looking at what this film gave us on screen.
And we're not even looking at this film. We're done talking about this.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Recommend.
Oh, shit.
With that, our opening sequence starts with a flying saucer that's got a bit of a wobble.
Yeah,
a little bit.
if you will.
I mean, I think we can assume it's probably being driven by Donald Pleasance. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, allegedly.
Well, no, that would be Marion.
Oh,
Marion's driving him to the planet called Smith's Grove. Yeah.
This giant spaceship, flying saucer, crashes into Antarctica, and we get our title card, which is like as close as a replication as they could to the 1951 version. And then with like the opening credits, we get kind of like in Halloween, like Haddonfield, 78.
Yeah.
You get Antarctica, winter of 1982. So we have a place and a time.
Yeah.
We see
No palm trees.
No palm trees.
So,
No.
doesn't seem like it was shot in California.
No.
As much as he wanted to.
But some of it was.
God damn it, John Carpenter.
There is a Norwegian helicopter chasing what looks to be a husky, like a sled dog through the snow.
Yeah.
And the one of the people on the helicopter are taking shots and throwing grenades at this dog.
I'm going to keep doing this throughout the whole thing. If you want to hear an interesting tidbit or fact about the dog in this film,
we'll get
please watch John Keogh's commentary track because they talk about it.
They absolutely do.
Meredith Salinger talks about it in great detail, and she is very charming.
Yes. We get our kind of first shots of our main cast. They're first in like the rec hall, playing pool and poker and things like that.
Yeah.
But they are at an American research base in Antarctica.
U.S. Outpost 31.
Yes. It's given like a couple different names because like on the there's a sign that the dog runs by that's
National Research Institute number 4.
Yeah.
But then it's U.S. Outpost 31.
Yeah. So I don't know
It's
what
like it's like a Bible verse.
Oh.
US 4 chapter 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting it in terms that I would definitely understand.
Of course.
Windows later on says this is US Outpost 31.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that.
Well, and,
And Windows is
McCready,
named Windows.
yeah, McCready, who is nicknamed Mac,
Yeah.
Mac versus Windows, of course.
Oh, Mac wins.
Oh, that's good.
It's 1982 after all. But yeah, we were introduced to McCready. He's playing a like a chess wizard computer. It is. Let me just. R.J. McCready is the helicopter pilot. He's played by Kurt Russell. Before this, he had worked with John Carpenter on Elvis, the TV film. He had also been in Escape from New York. He reprises that role in Escape from L.A. later. He's also in Big Trouble in Little China. And then other people probably know him from Tombstone, Stargate, the movie that kicked off that whole like TV franchise. He is in Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof.
Yeah, and Hateful Eight.
He's in Hateful Eight, and he's in Bone Tomahawk. It's
I
another
love
like
that
horror
fucking
film that he
movie.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's weird is that, you know, I was thinking like, oh shit, this is the first time we've talked about Kurt Russell. But kind of not really, because we did mention Death Proof as part of Thanksgiving, because you have to mention one with the other. I feel like this is the first and this is the first time we're going to talk about Kurt Russell, but it's going to be a long time until we talk about him again. Horror isn't really his wheelhouse.
Right.
It's like comedies or action comedies or just action movies when he was younger.
Yeah. He's playing against this this wizard chess computer thing.
Yeah.
And it sets up his personality perfectly.
Oh, it establishes exactly who he is immediately. He's intelligent enough to play chess, understand the game, and be competitive against a computer. And then the second he loses, he's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And he kills the computer by dumping a whiskey into it. Which, number one, he wasted. What a waster head. But number two, wow, he's a sore loser.
Yes. This is also the closest we get to a woman in this, a female character in this movie at all.
Yeah, that's true. It fails the Bechdel test.
Yeah. So the voice of the computer was Adrienne Barbeau, who I think was John Carpenter's wife at the time.
At the time, yeah.
And she also co-starred along Kurt Russell in Escape from New York.
Okay.
And then she would also be in The Fog. Before
Which
this.
I was telling Derek, it would be really funny if in that film, Kurt Russell called her a bitch, because then he would have called her a bitch in both of these films.
What if, okay, hold on. What if she cheated on John Carpenter with Kurt Russell in real life? So he ad-libbed the line, cheating bitch. See, this movie's 40 years old. I can just make shit up about it. That's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. The helicopter lands at this American base, Outpost 31. The passenger, because they just continue firing at this dog.
Yeah.
And the passenger gets out.
And he's got those mole man glasses.
Yeah. Like that's the best. I was like, where have I seen those before?
Yeah. It still works. It's like an Inuit sort of.
It's for the sun.
Yeah, the way those little slits like refract the light lets you see without the snow blindness. I don't know how they work, but they still use them.
Yeah.
But he pulls another grenade and it like slips out of his hand as he like rears back. And then I love the difference in reaction because he's like digging through the snow trying to get it to like throw it away. And the other guy with the gun just books it. He's just like, nope.
Like, I do not care if you live or die. I do not care if I live or die. This thing needs to get gone. I have thought about the scene because eventually they clash. Our cast and their cast, they hear the helicopter, they hear the gunshots, they come out to explore, and they go out to explore the Norwegian man firing bullets at a dog. And he starts to shout at them in Swedish. And it's like,
well, Norwegian, but yeah.
God damn it. I'm going to do that a bunch. I keep thinking, if he spoke English, would this have affected anything at all? Because he runs up, don't trust that dog. That dog's an alien. You know, are they going to believe him?
What's funny
Uh-oh.
is that if you were to speak Norwegian, it's broken, but he is explaining that. So it is a huge spoiler for what is going on.
Yeah. He's saying something like, that is not a dog. I don't know what that thing is. Get away from it. Like he's trying to tell them get away.
But like if he ran up and he spoke perfect, because a lot of
would they
people in
believe him?
that country speak like English as a second language, but it's very fluent. If he had ran up and been like, "Hey, don't trust it. It's not," or whatever, and it's like, would they have been like, "Oh, okay," and then shot the dog, or would they have been like, "You're fucking out of your mind"?
Yeah, they probably wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
it. Yeah, because it takes so long for in any of these sorts of movies, like
It's Krampus.
Yes.
It's why are we sitting around listening to Omi tell fairy tale stories? Yeah.
right. The pilot continues shooting at the dog. He clips Bennings in the leg as the dog kind of jumps up on him. But everybody's shouting at each other that they can't understand him, obviously, and he's shouting, trying to help them. And the station commander, Gary.
Yes. In the most naked gun looking reaction shot, it cuts inside and he's standing there and he's got like a Loomis revolver and he looks out the window and he's like, "You Swedish motherfucker," or Norwegian, and he smashes out the window. He says that too. He's like, whichever one. And or maybe Finland, and he smashes the window. And then the difference between Loomis and Gary is that Gary, the station commander, shoots this guy from like 200 feet with a pistol and pop right in the head and he's dead. And it's like, Gary, you're awesome. I hope you're not the Thing, because that would suck. Could you imagine Gary becomes the Thing and a bunch of arms come out and they've all got guns?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
Mac becomes a Thing, a bunch of flamethrowers.
So I mean, we have no explanation as the viewers at this point of what's going on. We're just as confused as the Americans.
But it is the thing of, well, I've seen movies, so I know that there is zero chance that they would show all of this kerfuffle about a dog and it not mean anything. No, main cast, why are you bringing it inside? A helicopter full of men with guns hunted it through the Arctic. You don't think there was a reason? I don't know. I think if I were in that situation, I would have shot that dog. Personally. Okay. I don't like to shoot dogs. I've only had to do it a couple of times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is a time that you definitely would have.
I'm going to just a passing Christy Noam joke. Shot a dog. All right. Please continue.
Dr. Copper, he wants to, obviously they want to figure out where they came from, why this was happening. They talk about how the Norwegians, they have a base. It's like an hour flight from them, I think.
Yeah.
And they've been there for they've been there for like 8 weeks of a team of like 10. None of that matters. But Dr. Copper, he's the physician on staff here. He's played by Richard Dysart. He was in a 79 sci-fi horror film called Prophecy. He is in Back to the Future 3 as the barbed wire salesman.
Great.
And then he is he's in Todd McFarlane's Spawn, the cartoon. He is the voice of Cagliostro.
Cagliostro. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I did not know that.
That's
him and Keith David. That's fucking crazy.
I was going to say, it won't be the last time we mention that cartoon.
Guys, crazy.
I love this because, to your point, there's something wrong. There's something off about this dog. And we get that very clearly with these tracking shots as they leave in the helicopter. Because Dr. Copper and McReady, they get in this helicopter and they take off. And the camera like pans across. You get this tracking shot across the rec hall and down to the dog under like the ping pong table. And it's watching them as they fly away. And then we get a shot where the dog like walks down this hallway toward the camera.
It's like the best dog actor of all time.
Truly is.
Because it's like even him watching it's like, a dog would watch a helicopter fly off. But it's the way it's looking. It's like, and maybe we're personifying it, after the fact because we know about the plot of the movie, but it seems plotting. It seems knowing in a weird way. It's a good dog.
Yes.
A good dog-ter.
I would say, one of the best dog actors I've ever seen. Like in this scene where it's walking down the hallway, and we'll go over more of that. It seems to actually be giving like a performance, not just, it's just there.
Yeah.
It never looks at the camera crew, even as they like dolly backwards and move around the set with it. The dog thing is played by Jed, who was in a movie called The Journey of Natty Gann, which starred Meredith Salinger. Yep. That is where, she knows that dog from.
Fantastic.
And then he was also in a movie called White Fang in 1991.
Great.
So glad to see he got some more work. But the scene that shows off how impressive this dog's acting is to me is him walking down this hallway toward the camera, seemingly like pausing at different rooms along and looking inside, not seeing the person that it wants or not seeing anyone, and then eventually moving to the room closest to us and finding someone, and all we see is a shadow on the wall as they kind of turn to react to the dog coming into the room. Now, this is where we get to our first kind of theories on who this might be, because the shadow itself, because of the hair profile and things like that, it could be Norris, it could be Windows, or it could be Palmer. I know those are all names that we have not described yet. But
I think it's Norris.
Yes.
It's the shadow. The hair on the wall looks exact because he's got very distinct hair. What's funny is that I could grow my hair to look like that. He's got the same kind of curly hair that I do. So that's who I think it is.
Yeah, I agree. I believe it's Norris. There's a lot of contention online. Stuart Cohen, one of the producers, has gone on record saying that it was intended to be Palmer. But the reason why the silhouette looks the way it does is because when they shot with Palmer's actor in that scene, the silhouette was too defining. Like the audience could clearly tell who it was. Dean Cundy tried to soften the image to make it look a little more blurry, not as defined.
Okay.
But he couldn't get it to work. So ultimately, they brought in a stand-in to do the silhouette. And Derek, who plays that silhouette?
PJ, you'll be excited to hear this.
Oh my God. I don't like I don't like this, number one. I don't like being the odd man out.
You're gonna like
I don't
this.
like not knowing things.
I know you're gonna like this because you love Dick Warlock.
Holy shit.
That's right.
He is the stunt coordinator on this film.
Oh shit. Okay.
So,
The gang's all here, baby.
Yay.
We move to Let's Follow McCready and Dr. Copper as they head to the Norwegian base.
It is horrifying. It is what a good set piece. It is burnt to smithereens. It is as though they built a set piece and then physically set it. Oh my God, did they? Did they build a set and then burn it?
So, do you want to tackle this one? So basically, the way that they shot this is they shot the rest of the movie. They blow up and burn out the set of their base.
And then they shot this on the burnt out set.
They redressed it and shot it there.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Carpenter. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
I mean, it's the same way that they did the Myers house. They shot it, a certain way and then got the scenes that they needed. And then they redressed it all, dilapidated and everything else.
Yeah. And then he stabbed his sister in the boob.
Yes.
It's great. You pointed something out in the beginning where we see them land through a hole in the wall. As though the camera...
Where a man can see it all.
No shit, we're in France. No, the camera is inside of a hallway in the burnt out wreckage of this research post. And you can see the cameras looking at them through the like an opening, a burnt opening in the wall. Now, the thing about John Carpenter is that he specialized in that camera means that it's a person. Because if it's looking at someone through a hole in the wall or something very human that you would peek out of, usually that's a person. But then as they walk out of the helicopter and into the burnt wreckage of this site, the camera turns and follows them. They walk through the door and then they look directly into the camera, like at it. So it can't have been anybody. Or it was, and they simply didn't care, which would be an odd character choice.
Maybe it was a Yautja.
Oh shit, he was invisible.
Yeah.
What if they've got, that's it. The predator is hunting the thing.
Coming down this hallway, they find, everything's destroyed. They find a fire axe that's kind of buried into this door, and they break through into this room.
Yeah, it is the worst barricade ever. McCready literally lowers his shoulder and pushes like a half inch, and the door opens. Fucking Swedes.
And not Swedish. Norwegian.
Fuck. Well, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Fucking Swedes is good. Norwegians sounds weird.
Yeah, I don't know what you shorten that to.
Nords.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Or maybe that's offensive. We don't know.
Oh, God. If it is offensive, ladies and gentlemen, please tweet at that D. Rosenberg specifically. Not us.
No, not me.
Get him.
But they find the frozen body of a man who has slashed his wrists And the blood is like frozen, having dripped off of him, which is a cool effect.
I remember like Rob Bottin was really worried that effect would not play well on camera, but I think it's great.
Yeah,
I think it looks very good.
Especially because there's blood on the floor, so you can see that it dripped warm and didn't freeze, and then eventually his body lost the temperature and the blood froze. I think that's neat. There are places that are so cold that if you pee, your pee freezes like very quickly. So like that's a gross fact, but human body temperature liquid can flash freeze in cold enough, and you're in the coldest place on Earth. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing they find.
Yeah.
They also find a big bucket of ice. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a big thing of ice that's empty.
Yeah.
Like
like a big rectangle, like that's been hollowed out as if something was in there.
It's like the people that do like original Eskimo camping or things where they'll make videos about like really like harsh survival in those places, and they'll build coolers out of snow and ice. And that's what it looks like. It's a big empty rectangle made of ice.
And they kind of theorize, what that could be or what they could have been doing or dealing with as they move outside of the building again, and they find this burnt corpse of like a malformed humanoid.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, that blink and you miss it moment where it is all so uncanny valley. It looks like a bunch of burnt bodies, but the more you look, the more everything's connected. But it's very quick and dark, and there's a lot of smoke, so it's very difficult to make it out. And it is my favorite shot of this movie. If not my favorite, one of them.
It's a beautiful model, and it's like how disgusting it is.
Yeah, I think my favorite shot of the movie is sad Wilford Brimley sitting right behind a noose. I think that's probably my favorite.
Yeah. They gather this corpse and they transfer it back to the American station. And then most importantly, the dog is standing in the most unnatural dog way.
Yeah.
And watching them land and bring that thing inside.
Now, what I will
through
say,
a window.
Yeah, oh yeah. Now, what I will say is that we've been watching my dog, and my dog has been acting like that a lot today.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that my dog he just doesn't want to assimilate us yet because he's happy with the food and like the love and treats and stuff.
Yeah,
One day.
he's not in danger.
One day, but not yet.
We can only hope, right?
Yeah.
That's how I want to go.
Yeah.
I've said that a lot on this show, and I mean it every time. However I can go, that'd be great. They come back and they start an autopsy. Blair is their senior biologist, played by Wilford Brimley. He was in an 82 slasher film called Death Valley. He was in, most famously, probably Cocoon, a sci-fi film from 85. He also reprises that role in Cocoon: The Return a couple years later. And then he is in the Brian Yuzna sci-fi film Progeny. Brian Yuzna he worked on the Reanimator films, things like that.
Are we going to talk about the commercials?
Oh yeah, I guess he did those too.
Yeah, he did a bunch of commercials where he said diabetes instead of diabetes. There, yeah, we know about that. We just didn't want to really talk about it too much, but so that you don't get upset. Yes, he's the guy that said diabetes.
Yeah. He does such a fantastic job in this that I almost forget those commercials.
Well, what's funny is that an entire generation knows Wilford Brimley as the diabetes guy, but like, no, he's terrific. He's so good in this movie, and he's good in Cocoon too. That was one of those weird ones that my mom really liked and would have on. But yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, I've never seen Cocoon at this point.
Yeah, I saw it a long time ago when I was young, and it went way over my head. So.
What? You haven't seen Cocoon? Sorry. Yes, Bug. I understand that because I was like 5 years old watching it. Like, why are the old people in the pool? I don't understand this.
Yeah, I'll have to get around to it eventually. The head and face of this body seem to be almost splitting in two.
Yeah, it's almost like a dicephalous, like two-headed, like one is coming out of the other.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost as if you had a couple like different corpses that were melting together.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that was the original idea that they might have had, like, because I think about that. You look at something like this and you have to make a snap assessment as to what you're looking at because it defies everything you've ever seen for your entire life. And all I can think of is they look at it and they go, oh, well, yeah, they burned them. And it's like they're melted together. But it's like, that would not fucking happen.
Yeah.
And then even stranger as he begins doing this autopsy, he finds just normal sets of human organs inside.
But like a bunch.
Yeah. I love this model, this thing here, because they never give us a full view of this corpse. You get a bunch of detail shots. just enough to make you kind of question what it is,
Right.
but not know exactly what it is. We're introduced to like Windows, who is the radio operator. He's played by Thomas Waits. He was in The Warriors. I think he had an uncredited role in that in '79.
I would recognize
see
him
that,
from
yeah.
that.
He was in something called Time Lock from 1996. And then most recently, he was in a 2021 horror film called 645, like the time.
Weird.
But I haven't really seen him in anything else. But this establishes that he can't reach anyone for help.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been able to for like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I think. Yeah.
He says we're 1,000 miles away from nowhere.
Yes.
Why, how would I be able to reach anyone?
Yeah.
And they're all like, well, keep fucking trying. And it's like, they're like slapping him. And he's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Just like further setting the scene of these people are alone. There's
Yeah.
no one in immediate distance to help.
Well, they're not.
Complete isolation. And it is as McCready tells us a little bit before this, it's the first
Week of winter.
week of winter.
They're not entirely alone, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
Because of the thing.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyone, anytime, anywhere, whatever it said in the letterbox thing.
Yeah. The other tagline I was going to say that I love, man is the
Warmest place to hide.
yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metal AF. Is that metal? I don't know.
It's Meef.
It's something.
Meefy AF.
We move to our kind of our kennel scene here. The guys are all back in the rec room hanging out. Bennings is they're playing poker and he's startled by the dog, who's still just kind of moving around the camp. And so
Yeah.
he's like, Clark, take him to the kennel with the other dogs. Put him in there.
Yeah.
George Bennings. Bennings is one of the few characters that has a first name given in this film.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like, most of them go by their last
Okay,
names.
but is Gary given a last name?
Oh no.
No.
So then he's the opposite. Mm-hmm. He's the unless Mac's name is Mac Reedy.
I guess most of them. Oh man, this is half. Now that I'm actually looking at people's names and thinking about them, half of them are given a first or a last name because like Clark,
Right.
Childs.
Is Child's a first or
Child's is, I
last
think,
name?
his last name.
Okay,
Yeah.
Knowles could go either way.
So here's the question: is McCready's name Mac Reedy? Because
No.
if so, that's a first last
You
name.
do get R.J. McCready. Yeah.
We don't know what those stand for. I don't think.
I don't know. I don't know if that's given.
Really, Joseph. That's his name.
But George Bennings is the meteorologist of this group. He's played by Peter Maloney. He was in the Amityville Horror in 1979. He is in Manhunter from 1986, which is the first Hannibal Lecter movie.
Oh, okay.
And then he was in the Stephen King adaptation of Thinner from 1996. Clark is the dog handler. He's played by Richard
Masser.
He was in a horror film from 1983 called Nightmares. He was in Far From Home, a thriller from 89, which also starred Drew Barrymore.
Okay, not Spider-Man.
No.
Okay.
And then he plays Stanley Uris in the TV miniseries version of It.
Okay.
1990.
See, what's funny is when you were talking about Gary and you said Stephen King, I thought he was in it because I recognize him from something, but it must not be something that you listed.
And then another fun fact to tie this back to your previous comment. Richard Masser said that he had an opportunity in that same year to star in a different film. And can you guess what that film was that he turned down?
I can't guess, but I am elated. I'm on my
I
pins
have
and
no
needles.
idea.
I'll give you a hint. It's got a dang ass freak in it.
What? Holy shit.
And he turned it down?
He turned down E.T. because I guess it was going to be a lower role, a smaller role. This was going to be larger. And it was also in the featurettes, he had said that he spoke to John. He auditioned for a different role. But he told John Carpenter, he was like, I really like this role of Clark because he seems to be more aligned with the dogs. He doesn't really interact with many of the other guys except for like one pool table. But he loved that about the role is that he spends more time with the dogs than the other men.
Like a wild man aspect.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I can't believe he turned down E.T.
Yeah. The thing that he always reminds me of especially in this next scene and how he cares about those dogs as much as he does is it makes me think of the Rancor, like whatever the character's name is from Return of the Jedi.
It's Jinky Minus.
Yeah. The Rancor Wrangler, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, it reminds me of that. And then shortly here in this kennel scene, we're also introduced to Childs, the chief mechanic, who's played by Keith David.
Keith David is one of my favorite human beings of all time.
As he should be.
Yeah, and you were right. This is his first feature film credit.
Oh, okay.
It is. It is his first feature film.
He would later pair with John Carpenter again with They Live in '88.
Which I think might be one of my favorite action movies of all time.
It definitely has the best fight scene in any movie.
They kick the shit. And you know what the crazy part is? Most of that, not choreographed.
No.
As far as I know, they just
all
like,
improv.
Roddy Piper was like, okay, I'm going to do a bunch of shit. Just go along with it. Keith David was like, okay, please don't hurt me too bad. And then he did. He beat the shit out of him.
Wow.
And then at one point, Roddy got too tired. He's like, I got to go fuel up. So he eats a bunch of chestnuts out of his car.
Eats a bucket of chestnuts.
Keith David is also, as you already said, he is the voice of Spawn in Todd McFarlane's Spawn cartoon. He's also the voice in a couple other things that we know and love.
Yeah.
He was in Coraline as the cat.
He's the cat.
He is one of your favorite Disney villains
He's Dr. Facilier.
in Princess and the Frog.
That may be my favorite Disney villain.
Yeah?
His song is so good.
Oh, absolutely. He was in Cloud Atlas, the Wachowski film from 2012. And then he is hugely underutilized in Jordan Peele's Nope from 2022.
He's also the Arbiter. I
yeah,
knew-
from Halo, yeah.
I was like positive you were going to mention that. Yeah. He's the Arbiter from Halo.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I was so stuck on his like movie roles.
No, Arbiter is like the defining, like when I think of Keith David's voice, I think of the Arbiter.
Fair
Not
enough.
to mention Alien, The Thing. I'm just reaching to all kinds of shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. Keep going
Reaching?
with the fun facts.
I don't know anything about that. So the dog, Clark leads the dog into this kennel with all the rest of them. And we get one of the most famous scenes in the entire film.
Yeah, the action figure of The Thing is the dog,
Yeah.
like exploding into pieces.
Because it soon metamorphosizes and starts to absorb several of these other station dogs here.
It's disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
And something that I like about this too, and Derek, we talked about this when we were watching the film. And we start to realize the Thing reacts based on the situation it's in. And when he gets put in the kennel, the dog Thing realizes like, okay, I'm stuck in here.
Right.
I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here forcefully. So I am now going to violently transform and start to assimilate other dogs in here to get out.
Yeah. Now, do you think that because it recreates things perfectly, we find out.
Mm-hmm.
And so is it that, well, this dog form is not working, so I need to absorb all these other dog forms and then I can become like a mega dog?
No, my thought is if you've got, because at the end of the scene, what we see is that they, I'm going way ahead. So buckle the fuck up. At the end of the movie, it absorbs like 2 or 3 people and becomes this giant mass that is like tearing the camp apart. And I think that's what it is doing. I think it is absorbing as much mass as possible to become something that we cannot fucking imagine, to burst the fuck out of here,
Right.
kill as many people as possible, get one guy and escape.
It's cultivating mass is what you're saying.
Yeah. It needs to stop cultivating and start harvesting.
Rob Bottin, he for this scene specifically, he enlisted the aid of another special effects creator, Stan Winston, to complete some of the designs here, primarily the dog Thing.
You know, what's interesting is that we have had, as a guest, we've had a graduate of the Stan Winston School of Special Effects.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's Carly.
Dylan?
It's Belle. Yeah. Speaking of guests, by the way, congratulations, Bug. You've been on 3 times. You're the highest ranked. You're the number 1 guest as far as appearances. Let's
Boom, baby.
give it up for Bug. He didn't clap for himself. You know, you could have.
Yeah. We also could have played like a sound effect of a bunch of people cheering, but we're not going to do that.
Not doing it.
Wait, does that mean I filled my quota now and I don't have to come back anymore?
No, that means you filled our quota and we're not going to ask you back.
Yeah. But yeah, he had to bring in Stan Winston because, I mean, one, the work was just getting to be too much for him and his small team of people. So he brought him in to create a sophisticated like mechanical creature, and Winston instead went for like a hand puppet. Apparently a cast was made of makeup artist Lance Anderson's arm and head, around which the dog Thing was then sculpted in like clay. And then a final like foam latex puppet was built over that and worn by Anderson, which then featured all sorts of like what we've seen in other things, radio controlled eyes and legs and cable fed things, which is the way that like, pieces of Krampus are operated that way, or the Chucky dolls are operated that way. They're all cable fed.
So just to catch the audience up, who may not know exactly what this looks like, the dog sprouts a bunch of weird little wormy tentacles from its back. And then from that, it grows a bunch of weird, spindly, hairy spider legs that burst out from like its rib cage. Then its face splits open like a demogorgon, and a giant tongue flops out, and it's flopping around. And then it starts to spray. Oh my God, Prince of Darkness, dude. It starts to mouth piss into other dogs' mouths to make them the dog.
Yeah, and it's funny because in the featurette, you find out what that substance is. They used it for a lot of to make the blood appear more gel-like. I think it's called carbapol.
Something like
That's what it's feeling. And apparently it is the substance used to hold Twinkie cream filling together.
So they Twinkied those dogs.
Yeah.
They cream filled up them dogs.
For the record, listener, the Humane Society was on set to verify all of this was fine.
And they were fine with those dog cream pies.
The slime from the puppet that was used, I guess it leaked down because basically it's like that creature puppet was built on top of a raised set, so the people
puppet
could,
show,
basically. And so the slime from that would leak down onto Anderson during the 2 days that it took to film this scene. And even when he wore like a helmet or any sort of protective stuff, it was still like getting on him. And then he was trying to protect himself from like the explosive squibs and things that were going on because like there's all this other things going on up there.
Yeah, because and to catch back up with our cast, Clark has found out about the dog, and he runs and McCready is like, "Oh fuck!" and hits the fire alarm. Everybody comes, which by the way, they do the opposite of what you're supposed to do with a fire alarm. They run to the alarm. You're supposed to run out of the building, but in John Carpenter's world, you hear that fire alarm, you go find the fire. I guess it makes sense that you would rush to the fire in their situation.
Right, right.
But so they get there, and McCready immediately just starts blasting. He just starts shooting these dogs.
Yeah, well, he tells someone else to go get Childs and to get the flamethrower.
Which is, I believe, because he has seen the mass that was on fire covered in kerosene. And he has realized, okay, something like this, because there's no way these things aren't connected, died by fire. So go get the fire. I love McCready because that's how fast he is. It's like, I know that works. We have one. Go get it now. And it's like, and the way he barks those orders, he's a helicopter pilot. He immediately takes charge. I love this character.
Yeah. It's also one of those things, and this isn't necessarily described in the movie. It's the one thing that I'll take into consideration for his character is that he and Carpenter have both said kind of in their backstory for him is he was a Vietnam pilot.
Okay.
And so that's what he's kind of dealing with, the PTSD, the alcoholism, the depression that comes with all that. And he's kind of removed himself from society to be on this base.
Do you think he fought with Forrest Gump?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Maybe he flew the chopper that like picked them up whenever he
got shot in the ass.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he has to say goodbye to Bubba on the shoreline there.
Who's Bubba?
The shrimp guy.
Shit. Do you think the Outpost is looking for the list? Because we keep trying to figure out what the Outpost is for.
Oh, right.
They're excavating in the ice to find the list.
And we all know Krampus
has it. That's why they're in the poles to find, because they're in the South Pole because that's where Krampus is.
Figured it all out.
Right. It's all connected, guys. There's some reverse photography here for some of this thing. Like the tentacles coming out is done as an effect because they're actually pulling that in and they just reverse the film. I love things like that.
It's so easy to do and it never looks bad when it's something so against reality. Because it's like, well, you can't say, well, that's not how that would look. You don't know. And so it always looks super. They do that a lot in this movie and it always works for me.
Yes. Because I mean, it's basically the only way you can do certain effects and it gives it this otherworldly
weirdness.
Things don't move the way that they should.
No.
Which is fantastic. And finally, I guess to kind of close off the Stan Winston stuff, even with all this work here, he refused to be credited. He did not want to take any attention away from Rob Bottin and all the work that he did.
Yeah.
Wow. So the most that he gets is a thank you in the credits.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they get Childs to come in with the flamethrower.
Yeah, and so this is probably the first point we kind of want to highlight, where some of our theories start to begin with where and when things take place, what can happen with people who get infected, and so forth. Before Childs comes in, the biomass dog thing sprouts these two giant arms out from behind it, and we get two very clear shots where these arms go up, they break the ceiling rafters,
Yeah.
and we see these arms go up with the hands going out of frame through the rafters.
And they're like 3-fingered. They look like Ninja Turtle hands, but with big claws.
I was gonna say Nightcrawler hands. Yeah.
So one of the big points of contention is like then we start to see the biomass, the dog thing, get lifted up into the air. We see the spider legs and the body mass. At this point, Childs comes in. He is just stunned at what this thing is. Mac is yelling, light it up. And Childs is just frozen. At this point, we get, I think, one of the coolest special effects where the biomass opens up and what looks like a blooming flower comes out and opens up. And Rob Bottin has gone on record to say that it's actually a conglomeration of dog tongues unfolding with teeth growing out of them. We get this really
Just
cool,
vile.
Yeah.
It's just vile.
It's just nasty. And
Guys, can I get a yuck in the comments, please?
we get this really great POV shot from the monster up in, going up at the corner of the kennel, coming down into Childs. Child lights it up. We then get a full frame shot of this thing on fire. It drops down to the ground. It's a great shot.
Yeah. At one point, you see it's kind of like the center mass of it has now grown eyeballs, and eyeballs freak me out.
Yeah, they
It's
really
like,
do.
Resident Evil uses that a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Things will just grow giant fuck off eyeballs, and it's like, well, what are you trying to look at? The list. Anyway, please continue.
I love films where they like the actors themselves have to act and go in and put out fire with like fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
And they gather what's left of this creature, and we have our second autopsy scene.
There's a lot of autopsy scenes in this film.
Yeah,
And each one is more disgusting than the last. This
True.
is truly horrific.
Blair again is doing the autopsy on the dog thing, and the main thing that he surmises here is that this is an organism that can perfectly imitate other life forms.
I love how he does this because he's got like a pencil in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He's like pointing at it, and it's like a lecture of the most otherworldly, terrifying revelation anyone could make. And he's walking around and he's like, see, this is real dog. And that's fake dog in there. Imitation dog. And so this is the problem. You understand? It's a sort of fake dog thing situation. And they're like, what does that mean though? They're all so shaken, but he's telling them about the Odyssey and like he's a lit professor. Like it's so bizarre.
Do you think that whenever Blair goes to like a Chinese restaurant and he pays the extra for the crab legs, he's like cracking those open? He's like, you see this? This is crab meat. And then he opens up a crab rangoon and he opens it up. And it's like, this is imitation crab meat. The
waitress is like, I know that. Why are you telling me that? The pencil thing.
The pencil thing. Because that's always one that like I look at and I go, oh my God, he's touching this. He seems to be touching the thing with the pencil.
Right.
And then he like puts it to his mouth. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you? And I think it's just like that's just his acting style.
Yeah,
and just kind
John
of
Carpenter
thing.
said that. Yeah, Wilford just kind of was just improving it, just eating up the frame, the scenery. But speaking of that, we get a lot of great shots. We get more shots of the dog thing. We have the big biomass with the spider legs. Blair's cut it open to reveal a new dog being formed. But one of the things that I like to point out, and this kind of starts my theory of where things begin with infection. After Norris, obviously, with the silhouette. At this point, as we're getting these shots of the dog thing, the one thing we don't see in the shot are the two giant arms that spawned out of the back of dog thing going up into the rafters.
Okay.
It is at this point in my theory that the arms of the biomass, once it got hit with Childs' flamethrower, separated from the biomass, and there are now two thing arms around the base. We do not know where they are.
Okay.
Only because we do not see it in the in frame. And you would think with arms that big, you would see them, but they are not. They are not attached to the monster.
And that was something that like I didn't at first want to agree with, but then in later scenes, whenever you start witnessing other times that a thing is attacked or feels threatened, and then parts of it will split off and then grow legs and eyes and then try to escape on its own.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It's a good reason. It's a good reasoned debate that they would be exposed to these things and not know, because the argument that when there's 12 or 13 people walking around at any given time that someone's going to be able to take the long, because it's shown that it takes a bit, it takes a while. So it's like, this makes more sense. People sleeping in their rooms and this thing comes up and begins to, work its magic, either infect them or assimilate them.
And this also, we didn't quite touch on it, but when we mentioned the silhouette earlier with the dog lurking, which we all believe is Norris's room. We know now that because of our rules that we have set, when this thing tries to assimilate, when it tries to absorb, it goes through a violent transformation, like what we saw with the dog in the kennel when it split open.
Right.
If dog thing would have gone into Norris's room and absorbed him, the dog would no longer exist. The dog would be gone. It would just be a new Norris.
Yeah,
but the dog still exists that Clark takes into the kennel. So what we are led to assume is that Norris becomes infected via option 1, meaning the dog licked his face, whatever. He has now become slowly infected.
Maybe he dog mouth pissed some piss into Norris.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened.
I mean, categorically looking at John Carpenter, yeah, probably. Yeah. That's what he does. Yes. For infection movies, it's all pee.
We also have this little moment between Blair and Clark in the dog kennel after everything's done, because Blair is suspicious of how long Clark was alone with that dog. Yeah. And how long was the dog just allowed to be out and about on the base.
He seems so mad. He's like, it was out all day. It wasn't in this fucking kennel all day. And Clark's like, yeah, it's not our dog. And Wilford's like, what the fuck, man? But it's only a what the fuck because of what he's discovering. Yes. Otherwise, it'd be totally like, who cares? It's a dog. But he's like, this isn't a dog. This is John Carpenter's The Thing. And Clark's like, what the fuck? What?
He read the opening credits. It also establishes a good thing that this movie does a pretty good job about that. I don't think on a first viewing you're going to pick up on. Yeah. But the amount of time that this film actually takes place over the course of.
A thing that I think is difficult with that is that in snowy environments like that, especially like Alaska, Antarctica, or whatnot, time just seems to move. So it's like the day is so much longer and the night takes so much longer. And so it's impossible to track. Because in a normal movie, it's like, well, it's day, then it's night, then it's day. So it's been a day. But here it's a little bit more difficult to tell. Yeah,
we simply have to rely on what the characters say, what we're given.
And there's a lot of like slow like fade outs and then coming back up to a new scene, which a lot of times indicates a passage of time.
Well, what I like about that too is that we have to, what you said, we have to rely on what the characters are saying to get any idea of what time has passed. But because of the nature of the movie, every character in this movie is an unreliable narrator. All of them. So there's no telling. Yeah. There's no telling if somebody's like, well, I've been here for this amount of time. It's like, but have you? Where have you been? And I think that's interesting.
But what I mean, I think it's the way that it's written, though, is that people tend to give it's been this many hours, or it's been a day, or it's been, so because it helps the viewer then along. Yeah. Whereas, like, I think on a first viewing, you would think that this took place over the course of maybe 3 days.
It feels to me, it feels like maybe a couple days.
Yeah. But to your point, PJ, we do get a couple of scenes where characters say they were in certain places or were grabbing certain things that maybe are not 100% accurate.
Or like, where were you during all this? Oh, well, I've been here for, this amount of time. And it's like, but have you? Because I don't believe you. I don't believe anyone.
And it plays into the paranoia of the characters, but it also plays into the paranoia of the viewer.
I think it goes to say how good this movie is, that at a certain point you realize that not only are they paranoid, but now you are. You're completely detached. No harm could befall you. Well, I mean, you get kidnapped or whatever, but you're just sitting there and you're watching this movie and you feel as though something might happen to you. And it's pretty freaky, man.
Yeah. There is like some files and things that Dr. Copper brought back from the Norwegian base. It leads them to a large excavation site. They see this video that is then like referenced in John Carpenter's Halloween. Because it is a similar. It's the men like standing with their arms outstretched around something.
Yeah.
But a few of them take the helicopter and they fly out to where they have kind of figured out where this excavation has taken place, and that is where they find this partially buried alien spacecraft, which then Norris estimates. They rappel down to it, and he estimates that it's been buried in the snow and ice for
100,000 years.
Yeah. Norris is the geologist. That's how he would know this. He is played by Charles Hallahan. He was in a 1979 horror film called Nightwing. He was in the Twilight Zone movie in the first segment. And then he is in a 1993 supernatural horror film called Warlock the Armageddon. He also is an uncredited role as the Baron's team owner in Space Jam.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea who that is, but they find this ship and they find a smaller, like more human-sized dig site, which is probably where the block of ice that they found in the Norwegian base is
well,
from.
and then they also noticed too that the hatch to the ship has been opened.
Yes.
It has been blown open. It's opened up right here. Like the part of the ship that we see and a lot of the Antarctic exterior are these beautiful matte paintings done by Albert Whitlock, who's been in the game for a long time. But there's a great little part of the featurette on the behind the scenes where they get him to talk about being on set there and trying to like color tone and figure out. So the actual hatch that Norris and McCready walk up to, the hatch is a real set piece. Everything else around it is matte painting, and it's done perfectly.
Yeah.
When we say that this film like uses every trick in the book,
Reverse footage, stop motion, matte paintings, it's some other stuff.
it's incredible.
Oh, split diopter.
A lot of that. They really did rappel down a glacier for those portions of the shot there. Not the actors necessarily, but I assume some stunt people. McCready explains whenever they go back that it seems like the spacecraft crashed and then whatever was on board crawled out of it and froze in the snow. And then the Norwegians must have found that, dug it up, took it back to their camp, and then it woke up. This is where Knowles finds a ripped up piece of clothing in the kitchen. They're all in the kind of rec room again.
Yeah, Norris and Palmer and McCready have made it back to the outpost. They're all kind of collecting evidence, what they found, discussing the facts. Childs is asking the great question of like, you're telling me this thing just woke up after thousands of years in the ice and now it's just attacking people. They're trying to make sense of all the evidence they have now.
Knowles is the cook, played by T.K. Carter. He was in a thriller from '85 called Runaway Train. He is also in Space Jam.
Ew.
He plays the Monstar named Knot. That's the little red guy.
Oh, okay.
And then he was in the 2020 Ben Affleck movie The Way Back. He's also done a lot of TV work way back when. And then he comes in, he is the cook, and he's like, who threw their disgusting, long johns in the trash can in the kitchen?
Right.
Keep that out of there.
Yeah. And he said that, by the way, while on roller skates.
Yes.
Yep.
He's multi-talented.
Yes.
This is where we can start theorizing of who these belong to, because it seems with the knowledge that we now have of, forced assimilation, violent assimilation, that it shreds clothing.
Correct. Yeah, and McCready, he drops it on the pinball machine that McCready is sitting at, and McCready instantly kind of turns around and kind of starts thumbing through it, thinking, is this thing causing this to happen? So this brings up kind of the next point in our kind of theories of where's who and who. So at this point, we all agree that Norris has been slowly infected by the dog.
That's what it seems like.
So this is where, in my theory, one of those detached thing hands has now made it to Palmer. Palmer is the second person to become assimilated. He is the first person to become fully assimilated.
Right. Palmer is the assistant mechanic. He's played by David Clennon. He was in an 82 thriller called Missing. In 2013, he was in a found footage horror film called Mr. Jones. And then he was in the Is it a Ben Affleck movie as well? Gone Girl in 2014?
Yeah.
That's weird. I didn't even make
With
that connection. until now.
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
So it shreds the clothing. Let me ask you this. After it shreds the clothing, does it then make fake clothing?
It's good, but it ain't that good.
Yeah. I think it has to then put on more clothing.
Because that's weird to me. Because like Bennings, and I'm cutting ahead, but Bennings gets assimilated. And like the next time we see him, he's wearing the exact same clothes, like puffy vest, and it's all the same.
Well, yeah, he grabs a parka, like from because they're in a storeroom. So he busts out of the window, and in the previous scene when him and Windows are carrying the body, he's not wearing a parka. He had to grab clothes to get out into the snow.
Understood.
Yeah, he was wearing like an orange Marty McFly vest.
Yeah.
Because he was a big fan.
Is that it?
Sure.
Okay.
This is another one of those, like, on a first watch, especially when you're not thinking about it, it's like, well, you notice a lot of the people here are wearing the same sort of long johns. So it's like these could belong to anyone. But I do agree. I believe it makes the most sense for them to be Palmers at this point.
Well, and we are on the teetering point still. The cast is like, I don't really know what's going on here, but like I'm still going to do my job. Like I'm not, because they don't know exactly how bad it is.
Right. Because that then comes with our next scene, which is Blair has become, he runs this computer simulation. Beep, boop, beep. And it leads to him becoming incredibly paranoid about what's going on. The simulation he's run on the, like some of the blood from the dog that was infected. And it shows that there is a 75% chance that one of the crew there has already been infected. And then it gives a like extrapolation of that's saying that it could assimilate all life on Earth in just a matter of years.
Yeah.
And so it's like the realization, the slow realization of we are screwed. There's nothing we can really do.
Because it's already happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's no way to tell. And even if we think so, like Blair's not necessarily thinking that far ahead of like, there's a way we can test and maybe we can stop it. Instead, it leads to him isolating himself and then trying to cut them off from the outside world.
Right. One thing I do like is they're having a conversation and they keep their child is like, Blair, do you buy any of this voodoo? And he keeps calling it voodoo.
Yeah, voodoo bullshit.
Because he's Dr. Facilier.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good point.
And I keep thinking about that because he's like, I've got things on the other side of that wall. And Palmer's like, blah, 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 you know, doing like, you can't see me, guys, the audience, but I was doing like squid arms.
Yeah.
Like let me see if I can. You hear that shit?
Wow.
Yeah, I was a fucking squid.
Those were squid arms if I've ever seen or heard them.
But yeah, he begins to isolate himself and he's obsessing over like a photograph of the Norwegian team that are all standing around that block of ice. And I think to me that reads like, why the fuck would you do this?
Stand around the ice?
No, like why would you free? God damn it. Why would you free this thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, good point. Fuchs is the assistant biologist. He's played by Joel Polis. He was in a crime comedy from 1990 called My Blue Heaven. He was in a buddy cop movie called The Rookie. And then much later in 2003, a sci-fi thriller called Alien Hunter. He is the assistant to Blair. And so he has been reading his notes. And he takes Mac aside to discuss what he has found as they move the bodies, the corpses.
Yeah, Bennings and Windows have been told they need to relocate the bodies recovered into the storeroom. So Mac is in the room because all of his stuff is in the room. While they're moving the bodies, Fuchs comes in, and says, "Hey, Mac, I need to talk to you."
They go out to what I assume is the helicopter or like the tractor.
Yeah, they're in the snowplow thing.
Okay, yeah. They're in a cockpit or like a cab of some sort. And Fuchs is like, and I love this because it is so dark. It is like...
Well, yeah, and I love that because when Fuchs comes into frame and he's like, "Hey, Mac, I need to talk to you." And Mac's like, "Okay, spit it out." And he goes, "Not here." And he kind of looks over at Bennings and Windows who are moving these dead bodies. And he's like, "Outside." And Mac's like,
"It's
Fuck
40
you.
below.
It's 40 below outside." And he goes, "Mac, it's important."
Yeah, and something that you pointed out that I hadn't thought about is that basically what Fuchs is saying is like, hey, Blair found that the cells in the thing that they are touching are still active. So we don't know how infected they are, so I can't say this in front of them because they might just turn around and try to kill us.
Exactly.
But what I think is funny is that they go outside and Fuchs has this entire conversation about like, hey, listen. And I think this plays into the helplessness of their situation and how well this is written out is that he walks him outside alone into the dark to tell him that if this thing were to assimilate people, it would need to do that by walking them outside alone into the dark.
Yeah.
That it needs to corner them.
That's a good point.
And so Mac looks at him like, okay, are you going to do that? Are you a thing? And he's like, anyway, just thought you ought to know. And Mac's like, oh, okay, good. And then fucking while this is happening, God bless Windows, dude. Windows has it the worst in this. The whole movie. He is like, okay, hey, Bennings, I just wanted to check it. Oh my God. He finds the most disgusting shit.
Right, because Windows and Bennings are the one moving them, and they need to lock that room up. And so Windows is like, oh, well, I'm going to go get the keys from Gary.
Right.
And so he leaves. And as soon as he does, the thing makes its move.
Right.
And so whenever he comes back, he finds kind of the remains of that malformed humanoid attempting to assimilate the Bennings at this point.
He's seeing a new Bennings being formed.
But being like kind of caught in this and being freaked out by what he's witnessing, he runs to go tell the others, but not before.
Right.
Most importantly, we hear the keys that he just got from Gary clatter to the ground.
It is a loud, prominent, little audio clip of keys hitting the floor.
And I also think it's one of those things where like on a single viewing, you're not going to necessarily pick up on that.
Yeah.
And like, cause you're not necessarily following the pieces and what you need to be paying attention to.
Cause you do hear Bennings before say, hey, go grab the keys from Gary, whatever. So, he comes back, but like you saw on first view, it's just a panicked person. He just dropped it in his hands and just tries to get the hell out of there.
Exactly. He gets everybody and they return. They don't see Bennings.
Right. They see a
it's almost like there's nothing there where he was. Yeah.
Right. And so they follow this Bennings thing out into the snow, and he's mostly formed.
Right.
He's thrown on this parka, but his arms,
they're like big rubber monster arms.
Like giant elongated finger claw looking things.
to put it into a modern, they look like Vecna's arms from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
A little bit.
go.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
And he drops to his knees in the snow and lets out this just howl.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the dumbest thing ever. It's the stupidest poll. It reminds me of Muppets Christmas Carol when Michael Caine's Ebenezer Scrooge goes to the door of Marley and Marley, and the doorknob becomes, I think, Waldorf, the Muppet, who goes, "Meow," and does his face all big. That's what it reminds me of.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've referenced
The Muppets, specifically Christmas Carol.
Yeah, but
it's
tis
Christmas
the
time.
season,
Amen,
baby.
brother. Only one more sleep till Krampus.
That's good.
Thank you.
McCready burns this Bennings thing.
Yeah. Jumps over a oil can, lights him up.
Again, just a bunch of cast and crew setting things on fire.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
And we get these good, these awesome overhead shots of where you see everyone in frame circling around Bennings burning, and everyone is present besides Blair and Clark, I believe. Everybody else is there?
I believe. So. Yeah, I know Blair's out of frame. And then this is also what brings us to our audio clip.
Right.
Yeah. Mac's like, hey, if you're an alien, fuck you. I mean, basically.
This is also where we get another little scene between Fuchs and McCready, where they had that little moment in the snowplow, but then they also, after they bury the burned corpse here, McCready sends everybody else inside because he's like, where is everybody? It's like, well, most of them are in the rec room. And he's like, well, go get everybody rounded up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you go ahead in, I'll be there in a minute.
Right.
And it's this little, they give each other this little look of can I trust you in this moment? And it's, it goes both ways. But this is where McCready, he sees Blair running away from the helicopter.
Like a little psycho.
with a pickaxe or a fire axe or something.
Something else I was pointing out to Derek when we watched it today, that scene where they just burned Bennings and they're all around, Matt gives his speech. When we get that nice pan shot of everybody in line, I told Derek, at this point, there are two people we know who are infected, Norris and Palmer.
Right.
If you're looking at what everybody's wearing, Palmer and Norris are the only people that have their parka hoods up, goggles on, and a mouth covering, like a mouth guard or like a bandana,
like a ski mask,
like a ski mask
pulled over. Yeah.
Everybody else either just has goggles, just has the hoodie part, just has the hood, but they're not fully covered on the face. It just so happens to be that those two characters are both like dressed the same
and maybe
way.
it's that the thing is more sensitive to the elements. I mean, it froze pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
It froze like less than 100 yards away from the escape hatch of its ship. Maybe it just gets cold quick.
Like that's a good story reason.
Yeah.
Like plot reason. But then just on a thematic level, it's a good just visual cue.
Yeah.
And again, at this point, I don't believe Norris knows he's infected. It is just kind of a weird visual cue to see that both of the people that I believe are infected now are both dressed the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's a good point. So MacReady sees Blair run away from the helicopter back into a part of the base. And he finds that the control panel on the chopper has been destroyed. And then he hears gunshots and he runs inside where he finds Wilford Brimley's Blair is destroying all the audio equipment in the radio room.
He's losing his mind. He has a gun. He is using a fire axe to chop them. And he's like, none of you understand how fucked we all are. He's like,
he has already attacked Windows, who's like concussing over in the corner.
Yeah, like bleeding.
Can't get out of the room.
He's like covering himself in fucking. This is as close to Pleasance as you can get without while being in the South, because fucking Brimley's like, none of you understand. He's fucking chopping.
This has to be the most fun he had in the film, like undoubtedly.
Oh, yeah.
And then somebody runs into the room and he's like, get the fuck out of here, I'll kill you. And he fires 6 rounds from a revolver, misses all 6 times and goes, ah, fuck it. He throws the gun, doesn't even get the gun through the door.
Like it hits the wall.
It smashes like a clipboard up on the wall. And then everyone's like, charge! And they rush him and he's like, no!
And they subdue him. And then they end up locking him in the tool shed because they're like, well, he's lost it. We got to keep him separate from the rest of us. Clark goes to check on the dogs, finding the rest of them have been killed via fire axe, more likely by Blair.
Yeah.
And this is where we kind of get our little, after they lock Blair away, this is where we get our talk of Child's character gives that line of, if I was an imitation, a perfect imitation, how would you tell it was me?
Right.
And which is it's a horrifying thing of like, could you tell?
Yeah.
Well, and it's a fun experiment to do with us sitting around the table of like, well, how could you tell? But these people barely know each other.
Well, and this also, I like this scene too, because it shows the agency of MacReady, because as they're coming back from Blair's, Gary just tells them like, all right, well, I guess we just hold up till spring and we just hope for the best. And MacReady's like, no, like there could still be 1 or 2 more of these things around here. Like there has to be a way we can find out who's who. And that's when he asked Doc Hopper, like, is there anything we can do? And he's like, well, it may be a blood test. Yeah. So we noticed that when MacReady and Copper and Gary and Childs are taking Blair to the shack, we also noticed that there are 2 people out boarding up the windows to the shack so Blair can't escape. At this point, I had currently believed in my theory this is where, because Palmer is one of those guys boarding up the windows who we know is infected.
Yeah.
I had believed at that point that this is where Palmer hears about the blood supply and ultimately going to lead to the blood bag sabotage we're about to hear.
Right.
But I love this, though, because on our watch today, Derek actually was like, yeah, but that doesn't line up. So that was a good call on your point, because you actually had helped me adjust my theory.
With the timing of everything, we're trying to figure out who had the keys when, so that they could get at these blood bags. They devised this this blood test, and they have all this uncontaminated blood that's held in storage, in case of medical emergency.
Right.
And so they, Gary, who is the station commander, he gives the keys to Dr. Copper to go and get the blood so that they can make this test. And whenever he goes in there, the blood has been sabotaged. All the blood bags have been cut. The blood is spilling out onto the floor.
Yeah.
But purposefully, like they mentioned, no, whoever did this must have come in here with the keys, unlocked it, sabotaged this, and then locked it back.
Right.
And Gary's the only one who then has the keys. And so what we know, looking at the details of this, Windows got the keys from Gary, came back into the room, saw Bennings being assimilated, dropped them on the floor. And then at some point in all of that craziness, Palmer must have gotten his hands on those and gone and sabotaged the blood for whatever reason.
And we can speculate that, Palmer was there for the discussion of Blair talking about all it takes is one cell. It slowly takes over the body, yada, yada, yada. It is plausible Palmer at that point realized, oh, well, if they know that this can happen based on testing blood, because Blair tested this with the dog blood, I should probably go take care of the rest of the human blood.
It's also got to be incredibly intelligent. It just has to be, with as much mass as it's accumulated over the time. And the fact that it's gone through the universe.
Yeah, and it can fly. It has the capability of flying ships that can do that and building ships.
Yeah, I was going to say, Wilford Brimley's infected character towards the end of the film has built the majority of a spaceship out of a helicopter, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So,
and so they go and they find this blood, and then they're trying to figure out between them of who had the keys and when could this have happened? And, Gary goes over the fact of well, no, I always have the keys. I only give them to the doctor whenever he needs them, and then he always brings them right back.
Right.
Well, who was the last one? Who's the other person who could have had the keys? And Windows realizes, oh, it was me.
and we get this really great shot of Windows slowly backing up from the rest of the group. And he's like, no, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. And he turns around.
And as the rest of them begin arguing, he charges down this hallway all the way down to where they keep the gun safe. And he kicks it open.
Which means it's not very safe.
No, not at all. He just smashes the glass.
He grabs a rifle and he's like, I'll kill you. And Wilford Brimley's like, I taught you well.
But they stop him and they have this little standoff here. But because of this, it's it kind of leads the men to lose faith in Gary's leadership.
Because Gary's threatening to I'll kill you. Windows put the gun down.
Yeah.
Mac talks them both down, which is nice.
Yes. I love this, the power dynamics that shift here in this scene, because Gary is okay, well, clearly you guys maybe don't trust me anymore. Somebody else should lead. Norris, why don't you do it? And Norris, who we believe
is infected,
feels something is off and is I don't think it's me, guys. I don't think we should do.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling up to it right now, because you get visual cues that he seems sick or doesn't feel well.
And Mac's I'll do it. I'll escape from New York.
Well, yeah. Childs tries to take the gun and Clark stops him. And then McCready takes over. Gary, I guess, is the best place. Like we said, station commander. He's played by Donald Moffat. He was in an episode of Night Gallery, which is the
Rod Serling kind of more modernized horror show. Yeah.
Yes, and the episode, PJ, you will enjoy this, is Pickman's Model.
Very cool. I like that a lot.
He was also in the 1980 Popeye film with Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall. And then he was in the horror comedy Monster in the Closet in 1986. McCready takes the slashed blood bags at this point and burns them. And this is actually where that speech happens. This is where.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was the blood bags or if it was Bennings burning. Okay.
Yes, but in doing this, he has Clark, Gary, and Dr. Copper taken away from the rest of them and sedated in the rec room. And this is where we learn that a big storm is on the way. We're about 6 hours from when that storm is supposed to hit. Again, the character's giving us little bits of information of how much time has passed or how much time is about to pass and things like that.
Right.
The next thing that we see is McCready is dictating to a tape recorder, and it's been 48 hours since the storm first hit. And a much quoted line that he gets to is, nobody trusts anyone anymore, and we're all very tired.
Yeah.
But then more importantly, he goes back and he records over that last line.
Yeah.
Because I think he doesn't want whoever discovers this tape to know that how helpless they were.
I think that, and I also think that if something were to happen to him, I think it's I don't want them to sell out the fact that we're all exhausted too if one of these things comes in and finds this recorder.
Okay.
The other big thing in this scene too is in the voice recorder, he has the bloodied, tattered long johns in his hand. And he says into the recorder, I think this thing rips through your clothes when it takes you over. And what's important about this shot is we get a shot of MacReady in frame to the bottom right, and it almost appears as if you're waiting for something to come into the hallway behind him
because there's a big open door.
Correct.
Like just like a full half of the screen is just empty space.
And then we also get a shot of from the hallway looking at MacReady. So you're kind of left to assume that maybe somebody is nearby listening to this.
And then Derek pointed out the last time he and I watched this together is that the door begins to move and then they immediately cut away from it. And it's like, ew, why?
Fuchs is then working in the lab. He's reading through Blair's notes. And MacReady comes in and checks on him. And I love it because it's that thing of he's approached by MacReady from behind. And so he immediately grabs a vial of like acid just in case he's attacked.
Yeah.
He can throw it on him. But he explains that from what Blair had found through his simulation that, you know, he believes that any one particle of the thing is enough to infect someone. And so he says that I think from here on out, we should be preparing our own meals.
Yeah.
We should be, you know, not sharing things like that. We need to eat from cans from now on just to be safe. And MacReady leaves, and then the lights go out in the lab. And it feels like it immediately happens. Again, I think there's like this weird play of time here. We don't really know how long.
Yeah, because it cuts back to like over the shoulder. He's down there reading and writing. Yeah.
And then they
like,
almost immediately dim.
And then the lights like slowly dim down. Yeah. Opens his drawer. He finds a candle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when he moves, he's going to investigate, and he sees someone in the hallway. But it's just to us, the viewer, is just like a dark shadow that moves across.
Yeah.
And there's a very particular audio sting that happens. It's very similar to like a Michael Myers sting or some of the audio stings that happen in Halloween 3, whenever the robot men pop out.
Oh, shit.
But he runs outside on his own into the snow.
Chasing this figure. Yeah.
And he finds the like a tattered shirt that has MacReady's name on it.
Like a jacket, well, what's funny is it looks like fatigue.
It looks like fatigues. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right after we see Fuchs chasing this figure, we cut to MacReady in the rec room, who's talking to everybody gathered and says, hey, has anybody seen Fuchs? He's been gone for an hour. Someone blew a fuse in the lab. And he says specifically, any one of us could have gotten to him. He offers to say, Palmer, you and Windows go, check on Blair, whatever. Palmer goes, no, I don't want to go with Windows. Like, I want to go with Childs. And Windows is like, well, fuck you too, man. Like, whatever. So we're getting this like sown distrust. MacReady ultimately decides, fine, me, Knowles, and Windows will go check on Blair.
Something that I love is on a rewatch, you know that Palmer is no longer Palmer, that he is the thing. And so I love the fact that he's like, well, no, I'm not going with this guy who we all suspect. I'm going to go with this guy who none of us suspects.
Yeah, and Derek and I, we kind of made the point too, because, aside from MacReady, being seen as a threat by Palmer thing, which we'll get to in a minute, I could easily see how Childs would be the next threat because he's also like a big, strong-willed, kind of guy. So I could see how the thing would view him as no, I want to get him alone so I can get him.
Well, it's not only that, but the things don't know that the other one is a thing. So if everyone is saying, well, Windows is the thing, and Palmer knows that he is, it's like, well, I don't want to waste my effort. I don't want to waste my energy. And I wonder what happens. Do you think that's awkward? He like starts to meef out to assimilate Windows, and Windows, if he was already infected, he's just like, oh no, brother, me too. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah, they just awkwardly touch tips.
Yeah, we just tore each other's clothes off for no fucking reason. Now we got to go put on MacReady's
and then
clothes.
they give it a reason.
And they fucking make out. No, this is my favorite part of this movie. Because my favorite part of every movie is not based in goodness or plot, or it's based on fucking how great it is.
Yeah.
Like how funny it is. And this is the funniest part of this whole fucking movie. They go up to the tool shed, like the shack that's in the
work shed.
Yeah, they go to the work shed. You guys need help. They go to the shed and they are checking on Blair, who again, remember, is Wilford Brimley. And they open this little window and he's all bundled up in these big white, like, there's like these cream colored, like hoodie fucking down jacket. He's sitting there and he looks all pissed and he's all cold and he's in those big glasses. But then in the
and notably, he is eating canned food.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
But it's like the window, and then he's in a chair at the table, and in between the window and the chair is a noose that's just hanging from the ceiling. Because I think there was one point where he was like, "Well, Blair, I think it's time to shuffle off. I don't want to live in the thing world." And then he was like, "Well, no, I got some peaches or whatever in these cans I can power through with." And then maybe. But he's sitting there, and I don't know why this dialogue makes me laugh so hard. But he looks up and he's like, "Now listen, I want to go inside. I'm not dangerous anymore. I'm not going to hurt anyone." And he's so indignant, and he sounds like a child. He's just like, "Let me go back. I want to go back inside." And they're like, "All right, Blair, you stay tight." And he's like, "Well, didn't you hear me? I said I want to go back inside. Let me go. I'm fine now." It's just like, why would anyone believe you?
But they're there to ask about Fuchs. You know, has he seen him? Does he know anything? And Blair is very much like, it's not Fuchs. You do not have to worry about
he
that.
says, "I'm hearing things out here. I want to go back inside. I'm hearing strange things out here." And that's when Max says, like, "Well, yeah, have you seen Fuchs?" And he goes, "It ain't Fuchs. Like, whatever I'm hearing is not human." Which leads to my next point of my theory that dog thing arm number 2 has now reached its way outside of the camp and is working its way underneath this shack, which we will see later.
Do you think Blair is like, "I'm hearing weird things out here," and it's the thing just sitting outside being like, "Tie a noose."
Do it, pussy.
There's no insulin out here for your diabetes.
Oh, God.
Because that was Wilford Brimley in those commercials.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, I remember. McCready, Windows, and Knowles leaving there find the burnt corpse of who they realize is Fuchs in the snow. And at first they're like, "Well, why would the thing do this to them?" To him?
Right.
And it's like, well, and they pick up like a burnt out.
It's his glasses.
Yeah, that is how they know it's him. But then they pick up a
flare.
flare. Thank you. And they're like, "Oh, well, maybe he tried to burn it and accidentally caught himself." And then McCready is like the darkest version of that, of like, well, maybe he killed him. Maybe he lit himself up so that he wouldn't be assimilated.
Right.
So McCready, he decides we're basically going to split up this small group here. And he's going to send Windows back to the base. And he and Knowles are going to go to McCready's shack to investigate. And you get this chilling little moment because Knowles is like, "Why would we do that?" He's like, "Because I didn't leave my lights on."
Mm-hmm.
And then you just snap to a shot of McCready's shack, which is like this high rise on the end, on like the edge of the base, and the light is on.
Yeah.
It's very creepy.
Well, you pointed out that it's a game you and I both very much like, which is a game called Firewatch. And there's an identical sequence in that of like, "Oh, you made it back to your tower?" And he's like, "No, I'm way out in the woods." And she's like, "Your lights just turned on."
Like, I'm getting my hair is raising on my arms thinking about it.
It's a good scene.
So they do that, and the rest of them, whenever Windows makes it back, they start barricading the doors to the station. And during the return, like, Knowles makes it back to base, having cut McCready loose in the middle of the snowstorm, because he believes that McCready has been assimilated because he finds a bunch of torn clothes in McCready's shack, like stuffed into like the furnace or something.
The oil reserve or something on the side of the shack. Yeah.
He cuts Mac loose, and trust me, Mac's fine about it. He doesn't grab a bindle of dynamite.
He holds no one accountable.
Yeah, he doesn't grab a bindle of dynamite, light a flare, smash in through a window, and then threaten to kill everyone, including himself.
Well, and there's this moment where before he breaks in, they're all trying to figure out, should we let him in? Should we not let him in? Palmer is very quick to like point the finger of like, "Oh no, he's definitely that. We should do something about this. Open that door and we should just burn him."
Yeah, let's just burn him up. Yeah, while he's closed.
And like
Windows is like, "Well, what if we're wrong?" And then Childs gets right in his face and he's like, "Then we're wrong." Except it's Keith David's voice, so it's way cooler.
Yeah. And so it's just threading that line of like, none of them trust each other, and who can we as the audience trust as well?
They also just seem so like frayed at the edges. Every performer in this movie is great, but everyone just seems like exhausted, emotionally exhausted, and it plays really well.
But like you said, McCready breaks into a storage room through a window, and they break down the door to find him, and he is holding them at bay with this stick of dynamite, this bundle of dynamite.
It's like
really.
8 sticks of dynamite. And then also on one of the shelves, milk duds.
That
A
is
weird
true.
thing that you point out every time we
What
watch
a
this
great,
movie.
those powers of observation, man. I'm telling you.
They're just there on that shelf.
The powers of observation?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's in the box next to him. To the milk duds. Milk duds. Norris and Knowles sneak
up,
around and try to get McCready from behind. And in this tussle, Norris appears to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And so they have to get the doc from where he's been tied up and held in the rec room, and they go into kind of their operating room, I guess. And he begins to use the defibrillator on Norris. This is the other most famous scene in this entire movie.
It's also, for those of you who are fans of our show, it's also the other place where our split commentary track is listed on John Keogh's commentary. Please check the description and watch.
Yeah, you absolutely should. So as Dr. Copper is trying to shock Norris alive again, Bug, you point out that, the first time he hits him, that is the thing realizing I am under attack.
Correct.
Or at least thinking that
Yeah,
it is.
the shock from the defib, like the thing reacts to that as like, oh, I'm in danger. I'm being hurt. Yeah.
And so when he goes for that second shock, the chest cavity opens up in these giant, they almost look like shark teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
that's
like a
exactly
giant
what
mouth.
it looks like. Yeah.
It's like a giant mouth.
And it bites down onto Copper's arms.
A farewell to arms. Because his arms come off.
Oh, yeah. I get
He's
it.
screaming. He's basically dead right there because of the shock and the blood loss.
Pretty much, because we don't really get a payoff of his death or body after this.
And McCready, who has the flamethrower because he's threatening to blow up everyone. Remember, he's threatening to kill everyone in that room. He turns around and he's like, man, no, fuck this.
And yeah, he incinerates the Norris thing at this point.
One thing that's important, though, is that from his guts grow a bunch of like tentacles and arms and
A secondary head.
secondary head.
But of Norris, a perfect head. Well, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
This head looks more like the dad from Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, who's a dick who gets murdered.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see a dead body for a really long time, and he really should have. Check out that episode to get that joke, you Anyway, so the head comes out, and it's like on a big snake, and it's like moving around, and then it bursts into flames. So then his head, his real head, detaches from his body and like slumps over the like surgeon's table that he's on, and like tears off the body and flops to the ground. 3 things. Thing number 1, that's disgusting. Absolutely great special effects work. Number 2, that is an incredible fake head.
Yeah.
And like, obviously it's animatronic, its eyes moves, its mouth moves. Number 3, why is the inside of all of that neon green?
That may have been like a rating thing. Maybe.
Honestly, yes. What they found in like test screenings and things like that is like you get a harder rating if you're dealing with blood. But if you're dealing with slime or goo or things that are
Sure.
different colors,
But so much of the movie is bright red, bloody, disgusting, things tearing open and people cutting open carcasses with scalpels and pulling fucking red ass organs out. But this one, he's like, it is like acid green.
Well, and that's actually a really good point too, because one of the things that John and Rob Bottina discussed is that they tried really hard to make all of the characters look the same with these muted colors with the parkas and make it all look very bland,
Right.
to accentuate the special effects with the creatures, to make it pop, to make it look visceral. So
Maybe
that was a conscious decision to where maybe like the colors are way more vivid and contrasted versus what else is seen in the film.
Maybe the other thing that I can think, and again, I think I'm just over theorizing and overthinking this, but the other thing that I could think is maybe that so far we've only seen creatures and people who have been forcefully assimilated. Maybe the slow burn, the infection into having all of your cells replaced over a series of time, maybe that green is more akin to the thing's original state of being than the red would be. That the red is it taking over human cells versus the green is human cells becoming its cells. So again, probably just what you said, a decision for cinematography, but it struck me as weird.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this guy green?
Yeah.
Was he the Grinch?
Yeah. It ain't easy.
Being cheesy.
Rob Bottin, he accomplished this scene by recruiting a double amputee as Dr. Copper here. He was fit with these prosthetic arms that were filled with like wax bones and jello and rubber veins and things like that to give them they look like arms. And then those arms were then placed into this practical stomach mouth that clamped down on it, and then they ripped off and severing these false arms. And in the wide shot, they actually have a mask that is made to look like the actor who plays Dr. Copper on his face. And so while he's flailing around, typically you're not looking at the face too closely. You're looking at his now bitten off arms.
Right.
And it's such a quick shot that you don't register that it's not the actor. And then the effect of the Norris Thing's head detaching from the body, it took a bunch of months of testing before they were really satisfied with how it was going to look on film. The fact that, that there's a bunch of fire effects here used, and the crew were kind of unaware that the fumes from the rubber foam chemicals that were inside of that puppet were absolutely flammable. And so
toxic.
It creates a huge fireball that engulfed the puppet.
It looks amazing.
It looks
Yeah, it looks
incredible.
Well, because that's the thing. Of course it looks beautiful. They actually set it on fire.
Yeah, the amount of times that the actors just have to just burn parts of this set.
Yeah, it's crazy. The other thing of note is that the head that tears away and falls to the ground, from its mouth, another one of these weird wormy tentacles shoots out. Again, this is shot in reverse, but it then pulls itself across the room under a desk, and it is successfully hidden. And then from the sides of its head, it grows those dog spider, when it's the dog, it grows the spider legs. And then it grows two eyeball stalks, like Gary the fucking snail. And then it's walking out of the room. And this is so goddamn funny. I don't know if it's meant to be funny, but Mac is just standing there. He's like, what the fuck is happening? And he's about to cry. He's got this flamethrower. He hears something. He turns around. He sees this human head walking on these legs. And he's just
and Palmer says,
yeah, I don't know.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
And he just goes, which is crazy because shut the fuck up, Palmer. You thing, Anyway, Mac burns the head and it screams.
yes.
Yeah.
I love its little tap dance.
Yeah. What if it was wait, we can make a lot of money. And then it's the hello, my baby. Hello.
But only when they're not looking.
Yeah.
Next, we move to our blood test. We have
such brilliant screenwriting.
Absolutely.
You've given your characters enough of a visual cue that the parts of the whole flee from danger individually. And so the blood would be no different. Blood is not blood for them. It is part of the whole. It is a cell, and it will try to flee from danger. So I'm going to hold this dynamite, and I'm going to tie everyone up. And I'm going to take their blood in the most horrific scalpel cuts on their thumbs anyone's ever seen. I'm going to cut down to the bone of their thumbs. And then I'm going to burn their blood in a petri dish with a hot piece of copper that I'm heating up in the flamethrower's pilot light.
Mm-hmm.
All of the movie has to happen for you to get here. Mm-hmm. All of it. You need Blair's research. You need them to have experienced the things. You need McCready to have taken over, which means you need him to have been lost in the snow. And you need all of these things have to happen organically to get to the blood has to be sabotaged, all to get to this scene, which is one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yes. The amount of tension here. We lose Clark here because in the doctor's the operating room, he takes secretly a scalpel,
right,
and he is holding that because he has kind of because he like supported McCready originally.
He did originally, but now because of his rash actions and everything else, and I don't think he was convinced from when he came back in from the snow. He's cautious now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he lunges at McCready as he's kind of explaining what he's going to do with this test, and McCready just shoots him point blank in the face
And kills him immediately.
Well, because Clark charges at him to attack, and McCready very quickly turns and shoots him point blank in the head.
And normally I wouldn't want to get lost in these little details in the scene, but this is, I think, my favorite bit of acting. And I think it goes on to show why these guys would, constantly be nebulous with each other and stay friends for so long. It's Keith David, and he's pointing the gun at Keith David. And Keith's like, you're not going to fucking do anything. And he's like, I will kill you. And he's like, no, you will not. And he pulls the hammer back and he's like, I'm being serious. And fucking Childs is like, yes, you are. Like, oh shit, I did not realize because I see the psycho in your eyes. But to me, it's like, Childs, how do you not see that? He is strapped with dynamite. He is like a suicide bomber. How do you not understand that he is being serious? But yeah, he shoots Clark in the face. You pointed out while we were watching this, you said that that's probably realistically the scariest part of the movie.
Yeah. Bug, I think you and I separately watched the Shout Factory Blu-ray commentary track with John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. And they talk about that moment in that scene and just how like horror, like harrowing of a moment it was to actually act through.
Yeah, because I know Kurt said they had loaded that round with only a quarter load of the gunpowder in it because it was a blank. It was a quarter of the total powder that should be in the round. But he knew from the choreography of that scene that Clark was going to, or Richard Macer was going to be very close to him. And so he was still concerned that given how close he was, that the blast may hurt him.
And burn him or something. Sure.
So that's why when you do watch the scene that was in the film, as he gets that close, he shoots him. Clark falls to the ground and you can see the reaction of Kurt Russell in his face. And it does look like genuine concern of like, is Macer okay? Like, so that is a genuine look of, I hope the scene came out safe.
Yeah. So then they get to he's tied everybody down. He has Windows cut Null's finger just so we can witness him collecting the blood in these petri dishes. And he tests Windows' blood first, proving that Windows is not a thing. He is a human. So after he tests Windows and nothing happens, he kind of recruits him to his side to help him.
Yeah.
And then he gives this cold line as he says it to Childs of like, and now I'll show you what I already know.
Right.
And he tests his own blood.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Right.
And then we get he picks them up from then on and he's holding them in his hand, the little petri dishes as he tests them. He's like, okay, we'll test Dr. Copper, who is deceased.
Right.
And we will test Clark, who is deceased. He tests both of those. Neither of them have any reaction.
And when Clark doesn't have a reaction, Childs is like, that just makes you a fucking murderer.
Yeah.
It's like,
very cold. It's very cold.
Yeah.
I also left out this part too. There have now been 4 consecutive tests where nothing has happened. And you can kind of start to see Childs as like, no, this test is bullshit. And you also kind of start to see McCready himself is also kind of questioning the validity of the test. Is this actually going to work? Which is a perfect setup for what happens next.
Then we get to Palmer, and he does the hot wire in Palmer's blood, and it you know what it looks like? It looks like one of those cans where you open it and all the slinky snakes come out.
Yeah,
it's like, and it like jumps up, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And then the camera cuts to Palmer, and he's just like, he's freaking out.
And I love it though too because before he tests his blood, it cuts to Palmer, and he almost kind of does this like, well, shit's about to go down. He kind of does like, I'm fucked.
Well, Fafo, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to be real meefy about it. But he does. He turns into Meef. And it's so funny because this is like a Three Stooges bit. He's like flopping up and down on this couch and they're all tied to the couch.
Yeah.
So it's fucking Childs and Gary are there like, oh my God, get me the fuck off of this thing. And meanwhile, fucking Palmer like jumps up on the ceiling and he's like, Ree! And he pisses Meef all over fucking Windows.
Yeah. Windows is trying to hit him with the secondary flamethrower. But they're both having issues getting it up. I'm glad we went to the same place. And so Palmer drops down and his head splits open. Like a deformed dog mouth, if you will.
Almost like large dog teeth.
Yeah. And then bites onto Window's head, and he picks him up and begins kind of flailing him around the side of the room.
An obvious showing of like a near super strength. You can pick up a grown man and fling him around like he's made of paper.
It almost vaguely reminds me of Nancy's mom being like taken through the door at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street. That's very similar. Like it's very jarring. Like that's clearly just a fake dummy.
Yeah.
Max, okay, add this to the list of powers it has. It can turn people into blow up dolls. This is not a drill, ladies and gentlemen. But Mac finally gets the flamethrower working. Torches Palmer. Sadly, torches, because I think Mac likes I keep wanting to say weapons. I think Mac likes windows. And so he burns him and fucking, they're like, all right, next test.
Well, he burns. Okay, I just want to say he burns Palmer. He sets Palmer on fire, and Palmer bursts through a wall, goes out into the snow. And this is like a visual reference to the original film Thing from Another World, because they also set that creature on fire and he goes out into the snow to put himself out. Right. So there's just a little visual reference there.
But there is no doubt that they burn Palmer into meafy cinders.
Yeah, they burn him to cinders, and then just for good measure, Mac then lights a stick of dynamite. And
which apparently you guys said that was real.
That's real. Yeah,
that Kurt Russell lit a stick of dynamite and threw it at a fake body.
Yeah, it's the other thing in the commentary where they were like, maybe we should have rethought that one. It was too much.
I get that it was too much, but it fucking looks great.
You see the shockwave in the film. It just hit.
Kurt Russell's
you see Kurt like turn around and like curl himself, and in the commentary he's like, I literally felt debris hit me from that blast.
He's awesome. That's the Kurt Russell's like the coolest guy in the world. He also smashed like a $10,000 guitar in the set of Hateful Eight, not knowing that that's what it was. And everybody was like, what the fuck? And he's like, what? I threw a stick of dynamite at a fake body in the thing. I can do whatever I want. But so he goes, all right, we're finishing these tests. He tests Child's blood.
He tests Null's blood next because he needs somebody again. Now that Windows is gone,
right.
He needs somebody on his side.
And then you pointed out, and I agree, it's like a comedy beat.
Yeah. It's like the little bit of levity we get after the craziness that was.
It goes, nothing on the blood. So then it cuts back, and now Knowles is holding the blood samples.
And he has like the flamethrower.
Yeah. And fucking Max looking at him like, all right. And he tests Child's blood.
And Child's is like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then it cuts, and now it's Child's on one side, Knowles on the other side. They're both holding flamethrowers. And Gary. and he's like, all right, Gary. And then you get to the funniest line. He says, listen, gentlemen, I know you've been through a lot, but I don't want to spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch. Or something like that.
Yeah. If you get the time.
Yeah.
You gentlemen have been through a lot, but if you get the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch.
This moves us to our finale where there's
a moment of hope here, because it's like, okay, well, there's 4 of you left and you're all human. You know for a fact that you're all human, untouched. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, let's go get Blair. Hopefully he's not in this news.
Yeah, because they leave Childs to guard the main building. Yeah, while McCready, Gary, and Knowles go to test Blair over in the shack.
And then the craziest revelations happen. He's not in the shack.
Mm-hmm.
He's under loose floorboards in a subterranean lair where he is again building a spaceship out of helicopter parts.
Would you call that Blair's lair?
Oh shit, a secret Blair. That we don't play Magic. But the point is that they're all like, oh, okay, well, we got to find this guy because this is bad. And so long story short, they get to the generator room. They have kind of cleared their way through back and into the generator room. And
after like Molotov cocktailing the grand majority of the building that they were just in.
Yeah. McCready and Knowles and Gary basically all come to an agreement that this is now a suicide mission. Like they are just they're gonna take away any possible shelter this thing has, burn it all down.
The generator room being like cavernous, and underneath it, they are planning on going through it, lining it, and going through. They do the above first, and they just throw sticks of dynamite into every room and blow it to cinders. And now that they're in the generator room, the idea is this will blow and collapse the entire thing, set the entire thing on fire. Nothing will survive that. And it's like, that's not a bad plan. And
only thing to note at this point, though, too, is that Childs is MIA.
Yes.
Before they make it to the generator room, Knowles observes what appears to be Childs leaving the
his post and running out into the snow.
running into the snow. So now we just have our three characters: Knowles, Gary, and McCready.
And shortly thereafter, the power of the camp goes out.
Correct, and that's when they suspect generator room.
When they make it there, the generator has been destroyed or taken, because with the spacecraft, they have to assume that the thing is trying to leave this place. And McCready has kind of come to he starts speculating like, well, no, it can't escape. So I think it's just trying to go back into frozen hibernation again, and we can't let that happen.
Right.
They realizing that this is where they're setting the explosives in the underground portion, and as they're kind of, because they don't understand that they need to like stick together, it's like Gary goes off into one corner and he is then taken by Blair thing now.
Same with Knowles, because, horror movies teach people not to split up, but everyone still does. Now, granted, this is the 80s, so I don't know how cliche that is.
Right.
But it is this moment where Mac turns and he looks down the hallway where they were supposed to be, and he's like, okay, well, they're dead. And he fucking lights a stick of dynamite. He's like, here we go again.
Which I love that scene, because nothing is happening, but it's not until Mac lights the dynamite, which is then we get the transformation in the attack coming towards him. Yeah.
Now, before we get into this, what I will say is kind of just an overview of the entire movie. Before it goes unsaid, this movie works as well as it does because of Kurt Russell.
Yes.
It is. Everybody's great. Everybody's great in this movie. John Carpenter is an amazing director. It was very well written, very tight script. The effects are great. Everything's great. But I think the thing that stands out the most is Kurt Russell. He is charismatic. He is funny. He is interesting to watch. He carries this movie in a way where it's like, he's not pedaling, but he is steering. And I just think that he's so fantastic. So when it gets to this facial journey of his as this wooden planked, like snow-caked pathway starts to ripple like the fucking floorboards in Beetlejuice, and this giant monster bursts out, and this is the only use of stop motion that we really see. You said apparently they shot more, but Carpenter
I think part of Norris's head is shot in stop motion.
Yeah, probably.
Top,
that makes sense.
The other thing I'll say in this moment, as it's charging toward him under the floorboards, there's a stunt actor who does the dive into like the barrels that are against the wall there and tumbles onto the ground.
Oh, okay.
Dick Warlock.
Fuck yes.
We gotta get him one more time before the movie ends.
Could you imagine if the thing got Michael Myers?
No.
Because then he wouldn't be Michael anymore. But anyway, the thing would know how to murder real good, though, with a kitchen knife and not much else. But Kurt Russell, McCready turns and watches as these tentacles grab the plunger for the dynamite and just bring it down with him. Yep. He's like, okay. And then this giant monster with Blair's face that kind of turns into a dog's mouth. And so he's like a dog Brimley, Wilford Dogley.
It's almost like a conglomerate of everything we've seen so far.
It's the teeth. It's the like weird flowery bits. It's the tentacles. It's everything. Weird arms are protruding out of it. And it's this giant monster, and it's attacking McCready. So naturally McCready goes, yeah, fuck you too. And he lights a stick of dynamite and throws it at him. But fortunately, they had laid the groundwork for a lot of other sticks of dynamite down there to explode at the same time. Because I had the thought the first time we watched this movie of like, I mean, there's no way this kills it. It's a single stick of dynamite. The thing's massive. And then like 8 other explosions go off, and it was like, no, that probably did it.
Yeah, because I mean, they've just kind of covered everything in gasoline and kerosene and every explosive they could get their hands on.
Yeah.
And then they just light the powder keg.
Somehow McCready survives. somehow.
Yeah, we get like these really great shots of just the base blowing up all sorts of locations.
Yeah, they shot that with a lot of remote cameras because obviously it's the only safe way to do it. The other thing I'll say about that giant Blair thing, as it's called, is it took much like the team of people it took to do the wall of creatures in the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah.
It took like a team of 50 people under the floor to puppet and move all the pieces of that.
You can kind of tell. There's a lot of human element. I like how it bursts open and another weird dog thing comes out and it's clearly a puppet.
Yep.
Here's the thing, studios. I don't give a fuck if you're using real puppets. I don't care if I can tell that there's a guy's hand in there. I like that. We like that. We had 30 years of nothing but fucking puppets.
Yeah.
Stop doing only digital and bring back the puppets. If you need the thing to be Kermit and Miss Piggy fused together, it'll fuck me up, but great. That's pretty cool, I guess. But
that moves us to our ending.
yeah, Mac is leant against a barrel and he's like, oh my God, I don't know how I survived. And we're like, we don't know how you survived either, Mac. And then Childs walks up and he's like, well, where the fuck were you? And he's like, well, I thought I saw Blair and I went out and I got lost in the storm. And then it sets up they have dialogue that's essentially, well, are you human? Yeah. Are you? Yeah. Well, can we believe each other? No. But it doesn't matter at this point. I think Mac is even like, well, I guess it doesn't fucking matter. Whatever is going to happen happens.
Yeah. Childs has this really good line where he's like, well, how are we going to make it? And then McCready just goes, maybe we shouldn't.
Which is what I was saying all along. It's like the second you find this out, everybody lines up and you burn yourselves to death.
So quickly after, he says, well, maybe we shouldn't, McCready goes to, offer him, McCready goes to drink out of this bottle of JMB that he's had famously throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
Offers it to Childs. Childs just very, gladly just takes the bottle, drinks it. And Derek made a good comment in this, as soon as Childs takes the drink, you just see Mac kind of have this little tiny smile.
He kind of laughs
a little bit and smiles. And then he hands the bottle back to McCready. And I like this scene a lot. It's interpreted a lot of different ways. Everyone blows this scene out to definitively say, is Childs a thing? Is Mac a thing? But I think ultimately what this scene comes down to is it references the futility of the situation.
Oh yeah,
because at this point it doesn't matter. And Mac even makes the comment, I don't think either of us are in a position or have the ability to do anything right now.
Well, and even if they have, they're not the thing. They're both human. The fire goes out. It reaches those sub-zero levels. It goes back to negative 50 degrees. They freeze to death. There's nowhere they can go. The tractor is gone. The snowplow's gone. The helicopter has been turned into a half-baked spaceship by Wilford Brimley. There is nothing they can do. They're gonna die. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah. But the one thing I like about that, and I was telling Derek this too, I like that little smile because earlier in the film, when they go to check on Blair, Blair makes the comment like it's okay, Mac, like you can trust me. Like when they first take him out there, and Mac says like, well, Blair, trust is a hard thing to come by these days. Why don't you try putting your trust in the Lord? And I feel like ever since that point in the film, this distrust has been sown, the chaos, the paranoia. And we are now finally at this point in the film where after everything they've gone through, Childs trusts Mac and takes the drink from him and takes the drink. And it's almost like, I feel like Mac kind of like, okay, maybe after all of this has been said and done, like this is that little bit of trust that we haven't had.
The humanity.
And the humanity is a little bit restored.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay. Yeah. So normally at this point when we've ended a movie, I ask, do you recommend? But before we get there, Derek, do you think Mac or Childs or both are the thing still or now or at some point?
So for the longest time, I think before all the analysis and everything else, I was on the camp of, I think they're both human.
Okay.
Then I watched it several times this week. I had read some things online of different people and kind of the timeline of when people could have, should have, would have been turned at different points. And they kind of pointed me more towards Childs being a thing, having been assimilated more than likely by Blair while the other three are gone.
Sure.
And there's a bunch of different theories that I don't need to go into because I don't believe most of them.
You don't see his breath. He takes the drink and that. Yeah.
And it's like it was a Molotov cocktail. I mean, it's like I don't like all that has basically been disproven in a bunch of different ways. Honestly, they bring it up in the commentary track, which if you look in the description, you can check it out on John Keogh's Vimeo or YouTube and check it out for yourself.
Hi, John. I hope you listen to this. We plugged you so much.
But like, I don't know, Bug, you and I have sat and discussed, we've gone over a bunch of different things. I am like on the fence, honestly, at this point, because I take the McCready offering the scotch, the bottle, and Child's taking it, immediately drinking, and that smile and that laugh that happens there of like, McCready realizing I've caught you, you are the thing, because we for the last several days have gone off of this thing of we prepare our own meals, we do not eat after each other, drink after each other, we don't share things like that. And then as soon as he offers the bottle, there's no thought, there's no hesitation, he takes it and he swigs from it. And it just seemed, the smile to me, I should put it, as McCready catching Childs in this moment.
Okay.
But the way that you tell it, I could be swayed that way as well. He takes it and he drinks it with no thought, because this is them realizing that they are in the same boat and it doesn't matter what happens. And Childs finally, because they've been at odds this entire film.
Mm-hmm. They're the same character in the heads and tails of the coin. Yeah.
And so it's in this moment of futility of their existence, of him going, it doesn't matter. I'm going to accept this drink from you. No questions asked.
Yeah. And
so I could go either way. Also, you see a glint of Child's earring, and we know that the thing can't assimilate inorganic things.
What if under the base, as it was exploding, it was on top of a gold deposit that they didn't realize, and a piece of gold shrapnel shot into Child's ear by happenstance?
What if whenever Null sees who we think of as Childs run off into the snow, he's going to the mall and he gets his ears pierced at Claire's?
But he's the thing.
Yeah.
And
he's like, I know that they're going to catch me if I don't get this ear pierced.
And he Prince of Darkness mouth pisses into the piercer, and she starts to put a little blood on the piercings, and that's how it spreads.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Bugless, I'm going to assume that you and I are in the same thing in the... oh, man,
you did it.
I wasn't going to...
What's the count, audience? Where are we at with the...
Yeah, oh, God. I have to assume that you and I are on the same page, because we kind of touched on this, where I just believe that they won.
Yeah, no, I everything based on because like Derek, I've watched this 4 times this week, and I've gone back. I mean, I literally have taken doodles.
He has drawn maps,
drawings of scenes.
Holy shit.
To try to figure out this timeline. And
that just says all work and no play makes Buck a tall boy.
But yes, I think everything based on what I was able to see, what I was able to research, everything to me indicates that at the end, both Childs and McCready are human. And I think in a strange John Carpenter sense of irony too, that's kind of how he would like it, because they don't know, but they both are.
Yeah.
So there is that kind of like cautious optimism. But yeah, no, I like I said, I love this movie. In a strange way, this is a comfort movie for me. Like, I could put this on whenever and just watch it. Like, something about the idea of just being stuck in this remote, base in the Antarctic, in a weird way, like it's comforting. It's like a cozy, fucked up film, and I love it.
I love watching their breath. Something about that just feels nice.
Yeah.
Because we live in Florida, we don't actually have to experience any of that, you snow bunnies. Yeah, I agree with you. I like to think that, at the end, because I love so much the reflection of dialogue of, now I'm going to show you what I've known all along. And he does his own blood test, or his monologue. I know I'm human, but I don't know if any of you are, but we'll find out. And it's just, they're the same. They're both so steadfast in that. But the next question, and this is the one that I referenced just a minute ago. Derek, do you recommend The Thing?
Oh, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
This is a perfect film. It is, like I said at the top, one of my favorite films. Definitely my favorite horror film. It is, and Bug, I think you and I are on the same page here. It does so many of the things that I love in a movie. All the different parts that it does, in the storytelling, in the creature effects, we didn't even really touch on it, but the score.
Yeah.
I love that he gets this incredible composer to do a score. He's known for his westerns and his Italian giallo films, and
It's basically 3 notes over a synth like heartbeat.
he does the most John Carpenter score.
Yeah.
It's like, John, why didn't you just do it yourself then?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's everything about this movie is so good, and it has such a rewatchability. Typically in the past, it's like I would go long enough between rewatches that like you forget little details or like when certain reveals happen, and so you're still not. It's like you could still be surprised by little moments. I think after this week, I've probably killed that for myself. I think I've not drawn as much as you have on actual physical paper, but the amount of like notes and things that I've taken of like, well, no, let's pause this and back it up again, and really just taken into account all the little details. I think it's a masterpiece. PJ,
Yes.
do you recommend?
I do. I very much recommend. This is one that I recommend with like an asterisk because I just know too many people that from the newbie realm that don't like to dive into this stuff. And body horror can be a bit much. Body horror can be a bit of a steep stair to climb up into horror movies. And this one does it very well. But what I would say is it's dated enough that it's not too terrible. But everything about it is great. The performances are great. The music's great. Not to mention it crosses all these boundary lines. You got explosions and you got Kurt Russell and he's got a big beard and the stupidest fucking hat you've ever seen in your entire
We didn't even
life.
talk about the hat.
It's terrible. Look it up. It's bad. But yeah, no, all kinds of madness and then there's suspense. If you like any genre of horror at all, this is going to touch it at least the once. And yeah, no, I very heavily recommend this.
And I also, too, Derek, going back to the production talk in the beginning, I think once again, it has to go to be mentioned almost in this weird kind of Dr. Manhattan Watchmen kind of way. The pieces that had to fall and had to happen to get this cast, this crew, John turning it down the first time, Toby almost taking it, having a totally different film, John coming back, but then to be once again teamed up with Cundy, who he's worked on with multiple films at this point, to get a young special effects artist in Rob Bottin who was passionate, wanted nothing more to work with John Carpenter, had this wild imagination, and
kicked ass.
And John said, "Give it to me. Just make the weirdest shit you can," and it paid off. I mean, all of these perfect little, just like Halloween, this lightning in a bottle moment. But finally, we're getting the chance for John to have the money, to have the resources. And I think that's why to this day, he still says this was his favorite project that he ever got to work on.
I mean, with all that being said, Bug, do you recommend?
No.
Well, what the fuck?
He's clearly the thing.
He's clearly the goddamn thing.
Thanks for tuning into the Third Channel Podcast. Please, if you have the time, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast apps.
You can follow us on social media at Third Channel Podcast, and you can find me online at @DRosenberg.
You can also reach out to us at thirdchannelpodcast@gmail.com, where we check every message we swear. Third Channel is hosted by PJ Minette
and Derek Rosenberg. Theme song and audio engineering by Fly Guy Ty.
The logo designed by Bell DeVelco.
Episode artwork by Nathan Walkington.
Keep it tuned right here to the Third Channel for all things horror. And remember, don't touch that dial.
Egg salad and eggs.